everyone, I'm Captain Logan, and it's time for another How We Felt About. Today we have a 5-man panel so we can talk about Toy Story 5. I felt like we couldn't talk about this movie without making sure that we had as many people here as there are now Toy Story movies, because somehow we have lived long enough, folks, to see Toy Story 5, and on the nice round number, the 31st anniversary of Toy Story. I swear to God, nothing can hit the anniversary dates anymore. Like last time we did Masters of the Universe, that was a year too early for the 87 Masters of the Universe. This is a year too late. What are we doing? We're at both 30th anniversaries. We're right there, and we cannot nail that.
So we have a we have a 5-man panel for Toy Story 5, and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have one person say everything, and then nobody else gets anything to do. That's how it works, because that's how Toy Story works. So,
our panel tonight includes my snarky son Jayson.
yeah.
Robert. He's
Fly to the sky. I don't remember what.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to remember
what he says.
what the thing. Robert, he's dead, but he doesn't know it. Wild. And then we have Connor was eating a burrito last time. Nielsen and DJ used to be on the channel. Martinez. Hi everybody. Thanks for being here. It's so nice to see DJ. I don't think DJ has been on the channel for a year or better. He and I keep threatening to do something together again, and it just hasn't happened yet. I broadcast way too late, DJ, and so I never even think to invite you to stuff because I'm like, he's got to go to work in the morning, and I got to start at 10 o'clock all the time.
Yeah, and it's 11 o'clock here, so it's way past my bedtime. But I've gotten permission to sleep in tomorrow. Grace is handling the kids, so.
Oh, I was imagining you sent your boss a message. You're like, can I gotta stay up and talk about Toy Story. Can I have permission to sleep in?
I don't know how that would go. I did get off of work for 2 weeks to go film Spider-Man Homecoming one time. I don't know how that passed, but that was a different job, so.
Well, that seems like a better excuse than I've got to come on my friend's YouTube channel to talk about Toy Story.
No, don't sell yourself short.
DJ reached out a couple days ago and was like, I saw Toy Story 5, I really want to talk about it. I want to be on the spoiler cast. And I didn't. DJ, you're the reason I realized it even came out this weekend. I thought it was next week. I had my wires crossed. I was on vacation. I wasn't paying attention to movies. And Jayson and I had actually planned on doing Disclosure Day today, and I don't know if that's going to get reviewed on the channel now, because next week is Supergirl, and we're going to have to do a full show for that. I don't want to do a double feature with Supergirl, and then I'm out of town again the week after that, and so I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if Mandalorian's going to happen. We're getting behind on stuff, and I know what you're all thinking. Who cares about Mandalorian? But I put out a poll to see if people wanted us to talk about that. It was like 92% of people were like, I mean, we don't want to watch it, but we want you to talk about it. And so I don't know. Maybe we'll wait for video and we'll finally talk. And then that'll be weird because it'll be like, we're watching it on Disney Plus, which is weird. People keep saying it should have been dropped in the first place. And that seems like the wrong way to talk about that. Like, you should see it in the theater and talk about whether it, needed to be there or not. So I'm still going to try, but I don't think I'm even going to be able to find a showing at the point where I'm able to go because that movie's not doing well. But it's so great to see all of you guys. So DJ has changed the fate of my summer by getting us to go to Toy Story 5 on time. And now we're going to tell you how we felt about it. Let's get a synopsis from Robert this time, because I don't feel like I make Robert do enough synopses. Robert, tell us a little bit about Toy Story 5.
Toy Story 5, or as I like to call it, the Lightyear Apology Tour, is the latest chapter in the Toy Story saga, and Bonnie's toys are now threatened by the emergence of tech in the form of the LilyPad iPad. So Jessie reaches out to Woody for help, while also having to confront her own past trauma. Meanwhile, there's also an epic quest with a bunch of marooned Buzz Lightyear toys that isn't entirely necessary or relevant to the plot, but I was entertained by them, so who cares? And that's the movie. That's Toy Story 5.
I think they do something thematically, but I don't. But they do feel a little tacked in. But we'll talk about all of that. Uh, so yeah, a movie that a lot of people said, God, why do we need yet another Toy Story? And yet is breaking records. It's doing really, really well. Let's get into our sign flips. Let's just jump in right away. Thanks for watching live. If you're doing that right now, and thanks for watching after the fact, if you're doing that instead, feel free to leave comments. We'll interact with you as much as possible. And as always, if you want to help direct the conversation, you can leave a super chat, any dollar amount, and that will guarantee that we hit whatever aspects you want us to. We can't promise that we will talk about every little nook and cranny in the movie, but we will be, especially with a 5-man panel, as thorough as we can. Would anyone like to volunteer to do a best thing, worst thing, and sign flip first? Okay, Jason, go right ahead.
So, I want to start.
How did
with-
this movie make you feel?
Oh man, I didn't think of one this
Oh, okay,
time.
okay.
Dang it. Well, anyway, sorry, not this time. Maybe I'll think of one. Going into this, I don't know if I talked about this on the channel. I wasn't excited. The trailers weren't anything special. To me, anyway, you know, I felt it was the most logical step for a Toy Story movie, but I thought, I'm really done with Pixar sequels. I need them to make more original films, and I don't like Pixar sequels as a concept. Besides a couple, besides like Toy Story 2 and 3, which I think are the only Pixar sequels that are better than the original.
Monsters University would like a word with you.
That's a prequel.
Oh, well, that's true, but it's another one though, and it's not better than the original, but I think it's right on par.
I think it's fine. I'm also just not a big Monsters Inc. fan. So
Maybe you like it better after college. Anyway, go ahead.
I went to I went to this movie thinking this is gonna be fine. And I walked out being like honestly surprised that it was I think better than fine. It's not
That's Jason's review.
The
And
best-
we move on. It's better than fine.
it's not the best Toy Story movie. I don't think it's the worst Toy Story movie. So I'm just gonna start with the sign flip, which is I'm feeling it, because I was shocked by it that it held up as a movie better than I thought it would.
What were the big things that shocked you? Were you moved?
I was moved a lot. I think this is the most I've cried at a Toy Story movie because
That's a lot of people's litmus test
all-
with Pixar and Toy Story in general.
yeah.
Like if it made you cry, it has to shoot toward the top
Yeah.
of the yeah.
I'll get to the so I'll just say my best thing first, I guess, because it segues well. My favorite Toy Story is Toy Story 2. And a big part of that for me is Jessie and Jessie's backstory, which is the big thing in this movie. And so I think focusing on Jessie was a really good idea, and I think they handled it pretty well. So that's my best thing. And I had a worst thing. I guess my worst thing is nobody else gets anything to do. Like I think you could balance it really well, making Jessie the main character and everything, and I even think the human people get too much to do over some of the toys, because you always had, I feel like Toy Story to me was always the people are the background, and like we shouldn't see them that much, but I feel like we see them more. Oh yeah, it's too short too, but that was so that's basically my non-spoiler review. Is it was good, it was too short, and I felt like too focused on one thing, but they said what they wanted to say, and
Yeah.
I think they did it well. So
well, thanks. That was that was good and concise and thoughtful. Let's hear from DJ next, because he's kind of the reason we're here and not talking about Disclosure Day. Go ahead, DJ.
Oh no, don't tell them that. They're gonna be mad at me. I appreciate you. Earlier you said I messaged you and said I really wanted to talk about this, but you didn't lead one way or the other. You didn't say whether I liked it or didn't. So
Yeah, I
thank
wouldn't
you
do
for
that to
keeping
you.
that under wraps. The only reason I knew about this movie was because I was on vacation as well, Cap. I
Oh,
was
okay.
at a beach trip with my wife's family and lovely weather all week long. And then Friday it rained and we had to find something to do with the kids. I had no idea this was coming out. I mean, I had heard rumblings a long time ago. Never watched the trailer, but they were like, hey, Grace was like, Toy Story 5's out. Let's go watch it. I was like, cool. I also, like Jayson, was not jazzed about the premise. I was like, well, that seems lame and kind of old news at this point. And I thought it would be really kind of heavy-handed, but it wasn't at all. I had a great time with this movie. I love this movie. I was just frantically trying to come up with all my things because I've never been on the show before, so I didn't have all that prepared. But I will have a best thing and a worst thing. And but yes, I will go ahead and flip. I don't have anything green. I'm just gonna pretend like I wore this green shirt on purpose. I am definitely feeling it. Um, I had a great time with this movie. I also cried twice, and I never cry in movies. I had full stream on each cheek going all the way down, which is rare. And then I also teared up again at the end. And this movie made me feel simultaneously like a kid, but also a parent. It was like my parent self and my kid self just like, I don't know, hugged each other. It was like I was in both worlds at the exact same time. I was talking out loud, which I never do in movies. Like you know how you'll be like, "Is this about to happen?" And then it happens. And I kept having to like stop myself because I was spoiling it for my son in my lap because we only had 2 seats because it was a packed theater. So our kids were sitting on our lap the whole time, which probably added to the emotional impact of the film. But I was like talking out loud, which is so not like me. I was so into it. I do think this is the best Toy Story movie since 2, and I rated it very highly on Letterboxd. I gave it a 4.5. I feel like if a movie makes me cry, I have to go ahead and give it a 4.5. That's like my rule. So I technically this is the highest rated Toy Story movie on my Letterboxd, which is crazy right now. But I really liked it. Had a great time. I would say, disagreeing with Jayson a little bit, the best thing for me is what I would call the Inside Out effect. I actually liked that we got to peek behind the curtain a little bit and see into Bonnie's life a lot more.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same
And
thing. It's a lot like how that's handled with Inside Out.
I thought it made the themes come through a lot more and land a lot. I don't know. It was a very interesting change for a Toy Story movie because it is usually Andy's just kind of like the background character. But Bonnie gets a lot more to do in this, and it's Jessie is involved with her a lot more. And because it is mostly a story about parenting and stuff, I thought that really helped the story along. Worst thing I would say is, like always, Buzz after the first movie has absolutely nothing to do. But in this movie, I will say his arc his tiny little arc does help Jessie's arc. It at least goes into her arc a little bit. But Woody is completely superfluous. Why did we didn't have to bring Woody back at all? It could have he ended his story in 4. We did not need to bring him back. Obviously, they were not going to make a Toy Story movie and not bring him back. That was clearly like just mandated by the studio. We have to sell this on Buzz and Woody, but he is totally useless.
That's a merchandising
I
thing. You've got to be able to put the
yeah,
cowboy in a box, and so he's going to be in it.
yeah. So I understand why it's there, but like, yeah, he did not have to be there at
But
all.
he could have been
But
integrated better.
yeah, he's just a joke. He's just like just laugh at the old fat man.
With the
But
bald
yeah,
spot.
those are some very
They think
specific
that's
best things or
hilarious,
worst things.
by the way.
Yeah, like clearly my best thing is the themes and which we'll dive into later, and that stuff really got to me. But there's just a very specific best thing and worst thing.
That was great, DJ. Thanks. And as always, we'll do spoilers later. But I gotta ask you, DJ, cryptically, was the first time you cried in the film the scene with the tree? Is it the tree scene?
Yes, sir.
Would
It
would
was the
have to
tree.
be. Would have to be the
Trees
tree
get me.
scene. Let's go next to Robert.
Okay. So for my sign flips, we got green for Galaxy Quest, and red for the Santa Claus.
Yeah,
So
there you
double Tim
go.
Allen action. And hey, you know what? I like 2 of these movies, but Santa Claus 3 sucks. So I feel okay having that in
Yes,
the
but
red
Galaxy
case.
Quest is objectively better than that entire trilogy, so you're
That is
spot on with
correct.
your red and your green. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. I wanted to do something with Tom Hanks, there just wasn't anything fun for that. So you got double Tim Allen action for you there. I don't know what to say for my best thing now, because my best thing, I'd say for me was both Bonnie's character development. I actually liked that she was a more developed character in this movie and not just a function in the plot for the toys to interact with. Bonnie in this reminded me a lot of one of my nieces, so like this really struck a chord with me, and I thought her story was handled very well. Also, very similarly to the Inside Out movies, and I like those a lot. My other best thing was going to be making Jesse the protagonist, which I think really worked for this movie, which we'll get into more depth later. I guess my other best thing, just to say something fresh, a little different, though, to bounce off of something DJ said, is that Buzz does get a little more to do in this movie. And speaking as someone who really hated Lightyear, I appreciated the Buzz stuff we got here. So that was fun. Um, my worst thing, I'll say something that hasn't really been mentioned yet. It's more of a mixed worst thing. Just that I'd say the humor for me was kind of hit and miss. Plenty of jokes didn't land for me. So others did. Like I got a number of laughs in this movie, but I did have some. I'm not gonna say I had tonal issues with it, but there were moments, especially in the middle of the movie, where there was, for the lack of a better word, kind of a kiddie feel to it, like more kiddie than you expect from Toy Story. That wasn't always gelling with me in the middle, which I know is silly to say about the Toy Story movie for children. But in the back half of the movie, it kind of won me back, and I didn't have any of those problems in the back half of the movie. So overall, I'm gonna say I'm feeling it. I liked this. I had no idea how this conversation was gonna go tonight, and I still don't in the case of Cap and Connor's opinions. But yeah, I'm feeling it. I like this movie quite a bit. I didn't love it as much as DJ did. I think I liked it a little more than Jayson did. So yeah, and I did like 4. Like I am speaking as someone who liked 4, but not as much as the original trilogy. And as of this recording, I'll say I liked this more than 4 by the end. So yeah, I am feeling it. I had a good time. I'm glad I saw it. I like this movie.
Okay, we've got 3 greens,
I just want to say
and one of them was a Galaxy Quest, which makes me happy.
I agree with Robert that I think it's better than 4. And that 4 isn't. I like 4 a lot, but
Okay.
I do think this ended up being better than 4. I think I might need to give this movie a second watch. I don't know.
Let's.
I'll just say Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Robert.
Well, no, I'm just saying I liked 4. Of course, there's a lot of people who hate it and wish it didn't exist. I like 4, but I also have like mixed, complicated feelings on it and the ending. And speaking for myself, like I kind of needed this movie, especially after Lightyear, which I hated so much. So I, like I said, I don't dislike 4. There's some really great stuff in it, but overall, I liked this better, like Jayson said.
Lightyear was the easiest thing to not screw up.
Yes.
I'll never.
I have the good Buzz Lightyear movie behind me.
I'll never understand how that happened. Anyway, let's go now to Connor, who probably saw this the most recently of all of us. I got a message from him at like 9:10, where he was like, "I'm out of the theater. I made it." Acting like he came through a boom tube or something. So Connor, tell us how you felt about Toy Story 5. Oh, also, real quick, because I meant to say this earlier, shout out to DJ who was flexing a bit. This is his first time on how we felt about as a co-host, and he, unlike you, had a board. He actually came in with "this movie made me feel like."
Yeah.
And that was very impressive.
Movie made me feel like
It's too late.
Yep.
No, sorry, what are you gonna say?
Well, don't give me too much credit because I literally thought of that after you reprimanded Jason. I was like, oh crap, I forgot they do
Yeah, but
that.
on
And I
the
just-
fly, that's pretty good.
This movie made me feel like I was watching the first 2 acts of a movie, but then looking back on it, it actually does have a third act. But I
We walked
didn't
out of the
realize
theater. He was
it.
like, I didn't know we were in the third act.
What a lovely backhanded
just
compliment
ends.
that was.
All right, go ahead, Connor.
Booyah! I just came out of the boom tube, guys.
For a second, I was like, why is he saying booyah?
You just saw the wrong movie.
And then I went, he's got to say boob tube, or I'm going to be so freaking confused. Sorry, go ahead, Connor.
So, yeah, this one also kind of snuck up on me. So I was born in like the end of August of 1995, and I think the first Toy Story was a Thanksgiving '95 release. So they have literally been making these movies my entire life, and I was kind of the perfect age for Toy Story 3. I was just finishing up my freshman year of high school when that came out. And by the time 4 came out, I was also kind of the perfect age for that. And so this was a little bit of an uncanny thing because it's like, it's been 7 years since the last one. The last one was actually a pre-COVID movie.
Which is wild.
Crazy to think about. But it's also interesting to just think about how much time has actually passed, but also how different I am than I was 7 years ago, where like 7 years ago, like I was working the same job I have now. Like I had my big boy job. I was out of college. I had a serious long-term girlfriend at the time. Like I was like moving out. Like you know what I mean? Like I kind of was, by all intents and purposes, like an adult. And so I'm like, okay, this is my big Toy Story ending, and I'm an adult, and woo, isn't it all sweet and everything? And people who were like 2 to 5 years younger than me really liked that movie, who I was friends with. And now with the 5th one coming out, I just kind of impromptu over the weekend had like a Toy Story weekend where I didn't plan on it, but I caught up in time to watch it, the 5th one today. And I wasn't really interested in the 5th one. I didn't even really think I'd be watching it. But then like rewatching through all of them, I was just like, oh yeah, like I like Toy Story. I think like Toy Story is like the signature Pixar thing. Like it kind of is a good standard by which all other Pixar, like the Pixar identity is like kind of based on. You can look at like Up or Wall-E or Monsters Incorporated as like it's kind of like that Pixar or Toy Story flavor, but this part they lean into more and less so that part. And I don't know, like it's always been, I think, pretty well managed because I like all the Toy Story movies. I think too, you know, like so Toy Story, the first one is a great movie. I don't respond to it the way a lot of other people do, but if somebody were to come at me and say it's like a 10 out of 10, like perfect movie, like I get it. I get what they're seeing in it. Toy Story 2, not to spoil, you know, another series on this channel that I am contributing to, I think is one of the greatest films that's ever been made. Like every time I revisit that movie, like it blows my mind. It's one of the best sequels, one of the
calling
best
it now.
animated
It's number
films.
6. I'm calling it now.
And yeah, I don't know, like so I like 4 and I like 5. I like all of these movies, and I'm just kind of at the point where I'm just happy that they kind of, especially just like what they chose to do with this movie, like going tech seems to be like the thing that we all kind of expected them to do, like with the 4th one. And now that they waited to do that for the 5th one, it kind of makes the 4th one a little more respectable because like there's actually a lot going on in the 4th one in terms of like locations and ideas, and like they could have like scrambled to do that for the 5th one, but they kind of chose to really hold that one for the 4th one. But really my favorite thing about Toy Story 5, they chose not to do the belated big emotional goodbye again. I thought that's what we were gonna do, and I'm like, we would have more Toy Story movies that are that than are not. And that's honestly though what I liked is that this felt like just a good Bonnie Toy Story movie, which I don't feel like we really got. I think Toy Story 4 is very good, but Bonnie and that whole thing kind of takes the back seat, and it kind of has to because it's a Woody story. DJ, for you, I will make the reference to The Office season 7, which is a pretty average, maybe even not very good season of The Office, but all the stuff with Michael Scott is excellent. Toy Story 4 is better generally than that, but like with Michael Scott in season 7, the Woody stuff in 4 is great. And I'm glad he's here, but not really the focus, because after 4, if he was the main character again, like, what are we doing? And yeah, girls play with girl toys, so Jesse kind of taking the spotlight here, it just makes sense. There was a lot of intuitive decisions here that just sort of clicked together really well. And like, once you have Jesse in the spotlight, pairing her abandonment issues with like the technology thing, like all of these things are clicking together. Like Buzz Lightyear always being the high-tech action figure. Now he's like, we have a battalion of Buzz Lightyears that are like integrating tech into the new model. Like, yes, like, so I really enjoyed what we're doing here. And I just kind of was, as I was watching this one, just kind of realizing more things about this concept. It's such a flexible metaphor and very flexible thing that you can do a lot with. So I am feeling it. And so, yeah, if I have a worst thing, I don't know. I just watched it, so I kind of have to come up with it. I just had a really good time with it. I watched it with my brother. We've seen all the Toy Story movies together. Growing up, he was Woody, I was Buzz. But I guess I would say that I wish that, so I actually like the high-tech Buzz Lightyear subplot. I figured if we're not going to have Pixar short films opening these things anymore, integrating it as a subplot into your movie is maybe not the worst
that's
thing to
cool.
do.
That's
I thought
a
it was
terrific
amusing
point.
myself. But I do think though that like there is a formula at play with the Toy Story movies. I recognize it and I welcome it. But I do think uh, not Buzz Lightyears that have not had their crisis of faith, that are disrupting the action, is maybe a part of the formula that I could like stand to abandon. Like, I get it. We kind of do it in a different way every time. It's cool. We're never going to do it better than 2. Three get close. 4 doesn't do it, but they turn Buzz into an idiot. So, you know, if I have to choose between one or the other, you know, whatever. But you know what? Good movie. I liked it. And honestly, I don't know if you ever saw Inside Out 2. This movie
I
is
still
Inside Out
haven't.
2. This movie is Inside Out 2, but better. Like,
Interesting.
it is. Like, I feel like Andrew Stanton was like, and he came on in and did it better. Inside Out 2 is not a bad movie, but this is a better movie.
That was great, Connor. Hey, thanks for rewatching the entire franchise again and giving us that perspective and reminding me what happens in certain of them, because some of it blends together just a little bit. Yeah, I was sitting here racking my brain when you were talking about the Buzz Lightyears having their crisis of faith, where I was like, where was that in 4? I guess it's the only one that doesn't do it. The rules in the Toy Story universe are so completely arbitrary. Like, I can't even complain that most of it is inconsistent. It's just weird, and it makes no sense, and you have to suspend your disbelief more than any other conceit like this, or at least a lot of conceits like this, where it's like, part of the conceit is if you're a Buzz Lightyear, you just think you're a real person. Why? I don't know. And even the ones that can be their own hotspots, which I don't know why they can do that, but we'll talk about some of the tech stuff later. Jason and I have a whole list of things we want to bring up of why does it work like that, but it's consistent with Toy Story in that there's a lot of like gigantic logical leaps with the technology with the toys, and we've been expected to go with it since 1. Like, there's no way RC is going to go that fast behind that truck. Like battery life is always an issue. So like when we start to stretch that all the way to, and not big spoilers yet, but all the way to there's a device that helps kids learn how to use the potty that can send you text messages. Why can it do that? I don't know. Why is that thing that high tech, but it's been in a closet for like 10 years? And so it does it all very
It's only
slowly, but
used
it can
for
do
6 months?
anything. Why? Sorry, what, Connor?
You mean to tell me a kid only used that for 6 months? Okay. See, I kind of figured like there were like 5 of those things that could do different gadgets, and then like over drafts they just combined those characters. Like there is like I had the same question you did.
Yeah, but I also think it's kind of fun to poke holes in it. Like, I'm not even mad about it.
Mhm.
It's just like you really do have to, like I said, suspend your disbelief pretty hard, and they're as consistent as they can be with the rules, I guess, if they want to keep ramping up the action the way they do. I'm not gonna make this my best thing, but one of the things I appreciated about this movie compared to 4, which I loved, but is admittedly pretty overstuffed, is just how low stakes it is. Which is why Bonnie being at the forefront of it works so well. Well, it's one of the many reasons. I mean, if you're gonna make it about screen time kids and the worries we have about kids becoming drones and not playing with toys anymore, and simultaneously growing up too fast but not developing critical thinking skills, and so like they're stunted and in children forever, but they also somehow grow up too fast. If you're gonna make your Toy Story movie about that, she's got to be front and center, and so
Mhm.
that's really good. Um, Sorry, I derailed myself, and I can't remember what my original point was. But I appreciated. Oh, this is what it was. I appreciate that it was as low stakes as it is, and yet the one thing that we continue to ramp up pretty hard is how many toys are in a scene somehow not being seen by humans, running across a street, or I mean, like, we were already pretty huge in Toy Story 2 when we go to a freaking airplane, but this movie, and I'll just spoil this right, I'll just go ahead and spoil this one, not a big deal. We've got Jesse riding an actual horse. We've gone that far. We've gone far enough to have a doll riding a horse. That's wonderful. That's also, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. That's also a question that I've always had with this, is why do some toys talk like anthropomorphic Disney characters and some of them act more like the animal or the thing that they're based on? So like Bullseye just acts like a horse when like he could be talking, but he doesn't. I don't know why. He's just actually a horse. But then you have all kinds of animal characters. You know, yeah, like why doesn't Lotso act like a bear? If the dog, if the horse acts like a horse, I don't know.
Is the sticky hand sentient?
Yes.
What is happening there?
Also,
He's just using him.
Also, in what universe? Sorry, I'm so all over the place. I'm totally gonna get to my actual best thing, worst thing in a second. In what universe is a garden gnome a toy? I need someone to explain that to me. I was distracted
when the
that entire
child
scene
takes it.
to the point where I can't even tell you right now what that scene was about.
Okay.
Because the whole time I'm just pointing at the screen going, that's a garden gnome. Why is it alive? That's not a toy.
But if a child plays with a garden gnome like it's a toy, then does the garden gnome become sentient?
Well, it works
Is
with
that
Corgi,
how it works?
so sure.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What a whole movie about that now. Like if a child makes something out of a cardboard box, does it start walking around? Is
But
it,
then,
is it imbued
okay,
with the
I mean,
magic?
okay,
Forky.
but hold on. But then we don't have talking jump ropes. We don't have like hula hoops, like
They
running
mentioned hula
around.
hoops as a fad. They mentioned hula hoops as a fad in this, so it's not a real
But you
toy.
don't-
It was just
No,
Talk to
they
your
do,
hula hoop.
but we do stuff with like sports balls and things where it's not like they come alive just because kids are playing with them. I get maybe if the kid gave the jump rope a voice, then it would
Yeah,
come
you gotta
alive.
give it-
But if you just play with it
Well,
like a
and-
jump rope, then it's just a jump rope. I don't know.
Well, 4, at the beginning of 4, when they can't find RC, I think Ham is like, hey, the garden gnome says that they can't find him in the yard, so it was set up.
There's precedent.
Wait, there's precedent for. See, I'm so glad you did the research for us. So there's precedent for garden gnomes, and what? Universally, are children just going in the yard playing with their garden gnomes? They do it in Bluey, so maybe.
Well, how is she much different than Bo Peep, who's just a statue clock thing?
Well, that's true,
Oh, yeah.
but that at least looks like it's a
She's
porcelain
inside
doll
garden gnome.
attached to a lamp, though, DJ.
That is a good point. That is good. But here's the other thing.
It used to be porcelain, and then we wanted to give her more to do in 4, so now she's durable. They retcon what she's made out of.
But she's still porcelain. She's so shiny in 4. She's the shiniest thing ever.
Oh, she's still
in 4.
porcelain? But they just made
That
her.
was
Yeah,
like-
she has one of her arms has come off, and like she.
That's
has
true.
tape on it.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
forgot
but,
about that.
but you can't tell me that she hasn't been shattered in a million pieces by now when she's
One of-
going on
one
her
of the sheep-
save the Misfit Toys crusade.
Well, one of the sheep like chips like the foot off in 4 when it falls. It's the most durable porcelain in the world, but it does it does chip and break.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm totally gonna review
But
this movie now.
also, there was a cardboard
Soon.
box at the beginning of 3. Andy is using the cardboard boxes as evil Dr. Porkchop's big thing, and so he's using that as a toy. So is that? I mean,
It's a building. He didn't imbue it with.
Yeah, that's the
character.
thing. It's just a building.
That's true.
If he took a cardboard box and drew a face on it,
no.
it was like. Brrr.
Well, no. That's what I'm saying. Is like this is not the bank with like the drawings on it. This is like when evil Dr. Porkchop is in like his spacecraft or starcraft or whatever, and then he's got Mr. Potato Head and like all the people in it, and he's dangling it because like cars just kind of roam around, even if they don't talk, they just kind of roam around on their own. I think Andy's mom probably threw away this cardboard box. So maybe if it stuck around, it could have had a Forky-like existence. You may never know.
Well, I'm so glad we invited our resident expert on Toy Story who has an encyclopedic knowledge on the topic.
This is what I did for the last 2 days.
God, I feel like I owe Connor a check for this. Anyway, so I'm not actually going to write said check, but
I watched Toy Story and went to the gym. That's what I did this weekend. So I was just like on the treadmill thinking about existential toy crises.
He's watching Toy Story 2 and he's running on the treadmill with like tears streaming down his face. When somebody loves you, and he's like running on the treadmill.
The score is so good.
He's not even laughing because I know that happened. That absolutely happened. Anyway, so I will flip green. I'm feeling this movie as well. We all really like this movie. I mean, I've got complaints, and I don't think it's of course the best Toy Story. After 4, I felt like I kind of wanted to like hide in a closet and not tell anybody that was kind of my favorite Toy Story at that point. It was massive recency bias, and it like really gelled with me and spoke to me on a real personal level. That was like a movie I really needed right then for reasons. The whole like 19 for personal reasons I won't talk about right now was kind of a difficult year for me, and the whole thing with like with like Forky like thinking he was useless and like throwing himself away and all of that like really spoke to me on a personal level, and was also a gigantic shocker because I thought I would hate that character, and then that ended up being my favorite thing in that movie. But 4 is absolutely not the best Toy Story movie. Neither is this one. It's in certain ways, I don't want to say my favorite, but like matters to me a lot. But I needed to see 5 to finally agree with the majority of the universe that 2 is the best one. That was one of the big things I got out of this movie, is that doing a kind of spiritual sequel to that movie that focuses so much on Jesse made me appreciate 2 more than I had before. When we and like I was blindsided by it because like the moment that we get a glimpse of that tree again with the tire swing, I immediately felt myself welling up again because every time I see 2, the moment you see that tree and that music comes in, I lose it. And like it's like Pavlovian now. Like I saw the image of that tree and I went, "Oh no, I can't have this right now. It's the tree
I
again."
had the same thing.
And
The tree.
I'm not even really complaining about this, but then the tree gets so much screen time. Like, I didn't expect that we would ever see a Toy Story movie where we could not get away from the tree that makes me cry, and I think I'm cured of it now, just because that tree is in like 3% of this movie. But anyway, no, I was really impressed with this. I have some script issues. I agree with Robert that the humor is somewhat hit and miss, and he's spot on about the middle. Particularly with, and I don't mean to be a prude about this. Some of it was funny, but particularly with the potty training toy. That was voiced by Conan O'Brien, which is fun casting. Um,
Mhm.
that thing was hitting too much modern, like bordering on Illumination humor for me, and like it doesn't get
Yeah.
crazy crass or anything. It's just not funny and not on brand for Pixar. There were a couple of choices in this where I was like, we're either too influenced by things that have come out recently, or we're intentionally trying to appeal to the kids that are not used to the traditional Pixar thing and are looking at more modern, like I don't even know how to put it, but kind of more memey type humor. And I've not seen a lot of real recent Pixar movies, but trailers for some of them make me think that Pixar, in certain ways, is going more in some of the directions of some of the other cartoon studios. But that's not fair because I didn't see, like, Turning Red, or the one that came out last year that was popular. Um, what was that?
Mean
Hoppers.
Hoppers? Because it wasn't
That was this
Elio.
year.
Ba-doom.
Oh, Cat Hoppers was this year.
Oh, was that this year? Okay. Wow, they put out 2 this year. That's crazy. But
And
anyway,
the one that's coming out next year doesn't even look like a Pixar movie.
no, I didn't think it did either.
But they gave us like a teaser, like it was like an early Pixar movie,
Yeah.
like when it was
Yeah, I mean, I like the art
Mike
style.
Wazowski and Sully coming out and like riffing,
I love that
like
teaser.
Monsters Incorporated. Yeah, it was like that.
I didn't even see that. Crazy. Plushie DX says the tree should get its own film. I agree. Um,
Is the tire swing alive? That's the question.
No.
so real quick before I get to best thing, worst thing, because I just want to make this point while I'm thinking about it. Actually, you know what? Let me just go to worst thing first, because it's related to that. My worst thing is Jason's worst thing, so I'm gonna elaborate even a little when he says a lot of the other toys don't get enough to do. Specifically, Woody and Buzz together, and my biggest disappointment with this was based on trailers. And obviously, you can never be totally sure how much emphasis an idea is going to have just because it's thrown in the trailer. But I was excited about the potential for Woody and Buzz to get a subplot together and to be at each other's throats about something again. And the trailer makes a big deal with that. With that line, like, it's nice to see the boys fighting again. It's really just one scene. It's just that moment that's in the trailer, and it was kind of sad that that wasn't like brought to the fore, and we didn't really do anything with that. Um,
It also just felt like they were fighting for no reason.
well, I mean, I kind of got it in that, and I'm glad that that particular argument wasn't like a lot of the movie or anything, because
Yeah.
that would have been real forced and
Mhm.
irritating. But the bigger thing, of course, is that Woody not only doesn't need to be here, but is shoved in like the easiest kind of lamest way possible, where it's like, oh, there's a misunderstanding in a conversation over a walkie talkie, and he heard the wrong word, so he came running. Like, at the very least, couldn't have we had done some kind of like cool reconnaissance scene where, like, our toys kind of know somewhere thereabouts where Woody is, but not exactly, and they're running off trying to find him because, like, they really need his help for something. It would have been cool if he was brought in because, like, he was the only person that could do something or knew something, or they just really needed more hands or something. And instead, yeah, like somebody said, he was a little bit too much the butt of a joke and sidelined real hard. Either make him cool or don't have him. And I think, and I mean, I'm suggesting a really wild, crazy notion for Pixar. This isn't even rewriting the movie. This is suggesting another movie. I felt like, so 4 does, like 3, I agree, kind of act like it could be the last one and is being kind of like, look, we're the big send off. But it also has massive sequel bait for Woody to go off and have his own, like, Disney Plus show or his own movie of some kind. It might have been neat if instead of having him in this movie, and I think they could have gotten away with this, especially considering how well this movie's doing. So I'm saying this, of course, armed with the information that this is succeeding. But what if Pixar had been crazy and developed 2 Toy Story movies simultaneously, and you had the Buzz movie, or at least the movie with, you know, all the old toys, and it's still Jesse's movie. It's this movie exactly, except without Woody. And then you do a, like, big quest crusading movie to go, like, save all the misfit toys that nobody wants anymore, and we really ramp up the crazy, like, how far can we take the action with these and still remotely buy it thing, and maybe even go globetrotting with it, like maybe even find a way to send Woody to a foreign country and release them like 6 months apart from each other. I I if you're gonna use Woody, I think you give him his own thing. I think you full on spin him off, and I kind of wish they'd done that. But I digress. That was just an idea I had that I wanted to throw out somewhere. Um, my best thing is oddly kind of the same thing that I said with Masters of the Universe, even though I flipped that red and didn't like that at all. Which is the message. I think the way we handle the tech stuff is so thoughtful and so sophisticated, and I love how within the first 10 minutes it feels like the obvious PSA, and then they have really thoughtful things to say about it. So, like, at the start, it's Jesse is anti-tech and thinks screens are from the devil, and feels the way I feel about it sometimes anyway. And then it gets very nuanced from that. And I also don't think that it's overly diplomatic either, where it's like, well, we're trying to make everybody happy and not hurt anybody's feelings. It doesn't feel cynical. When you get to the end of the movie, it feels like uh, it's it, it's kind of the classic, uh, because we just live in a sci-fi world now. It's kind of just the classic sci-fi over reliance on technology message, which is the technology does very good things for us, and in fact is necessary for the heroes to win. Like, it's interesting that they use
Mhm.
that our characters are using the technology that seems evil at the beginning to save the day at the end. It's not anti the technology. It wants people to think about it like the movie is, thoughtfully, and to find ways to integrate it into classic play that has worked for thousands of years, instead of having it replace the way children play, because the natural way children play is very, very important. And the distinction between this is play and this is not, but here's how you can use these devices as part of that play, is wonderful. And that's why even though it's the way it's integrated is sloppy, the use of the high tech buzzes ends up being the midpoint for that, where it's an example of how
Mhm.
that technology can be sandwiched together. I do think there's a big missed opportunity, or a couple missed opportunities with some of the tech stuff, which maybe I'll get to later. But anyway, so that's my best thing. Again, I'm feeling it. Now we can do spoilers. That was long winded, but I had things that I mentioned before that I should have done later that were not part of my sign flip. So anyway,
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
big
feel like
thing.
oh sorry,
I
you go ahead,
rushed to
DJ.
my best thing, worst thing too soon. I don't think I feel like I shared anything else when I did my intro. I should have done a better job. Um, But yeah, all that stuff that you just said was great. I was kind of went in with low expectations for the premise, and I thought they handled it so thoughtfully. And you were the first person I thought of walking out of the theater, besides my wife, obviously. But like, I was like, man, I want to talk to Cap about this movie because we have had lots of conversations, both on and off camera, about raising kids, and we're both very intentional about that, and we both have very strong feelings about how that should be done and how we want to do it. And I just knew we'd have a lot of thoughts about that. I personally, and I feel like you can extend the I love the metaphor in this so much because I thought there was so many different layers, and I thought you could extend it beyond just the tech versus old school metaphor. Like it's any way that you intend to raise your kids that goes against the norm. And my favorite part of the whole thing that really just has been sitting with me all weekend. This was also I had a similar thing to this as you did with four. There's just been a lot of stuff going on in my life personally right now, and I've kind of been clinging to my kids to kind of get through it. And this was so perfectly timed. And the thing that hit me the most was um, when the whole idea that you can't completely close your kids off in the movie, the metaphor is screens. You can't completely shut them out and not let them use screens because you're going to alienate them from their peers, and they're not going to develop, they're not going to be part of their own generation. And for me, that's not necessarily like screens, although I don't usually let my kids use screens at all. But it's broader for me. I'm and parents in general, this is a big thing right now in our generation. You want to raise your kids the exact same way you were raised, and with all the pop culture and all of the geeky stuff that you were raised with. And you I had to step back and be like, you have to find the balance between raising them how I think they should develop and what I think is best for them, and also I need to let them move on and be a part of their own generation. And actually, like that scene just gutted me when she just the parents realized that they just were holding her daughter back in certain ways. I don't know, just finding that balance was so good. I really like that stuff.
Yeah, I honestly kind of wish the parents were brought even a little bit more to the fore, because the movie really wants to talk. It feels like more about the parenting side, because the parents with this obviously are the most important thing, and if your kids are, uh, like not interacting with other children and they spend all of their time in a tablet, and they're not developing like natural skills, that's I and I don't know, some people will find this a political statement. I don't mean it to be, but like that's on the parents. Like you have to raise your children, and I felt for the parents' plight in this, but I also didn't get enough of them. So when at the start they're like. I get why they give the kid a tablet, and that's a like I kind of don't want to give a kid that age a tablet at all, but I certainly don't want to give them a phone. But I also get why that's a really difficult, for the reasons you mentioned, DJ, a really difficult call. It's like, we have like one communal tablet for our kids, and we have like real specific um time constraints. Well, the parents bring that up at the start. They're like, okay, we're gonna let you play with this today to get acclimated with it, and then starting tomorrow, you're gonna have uh like really specific time constraints. And then that never comes up again, and she just carries it around, and she's using it whenever
Yeah,
she wants
that's what
to. And
happens.
the parents are, yeah, it does, but I don't know if the movie's making a statement about it or if it forgot that they said that. You know what I mean? Like, I need to cut back to them a little bit and hear them say, well, like she's using it too much, but like she's actually making friends, so I guess we'll let her. And then maybe at some point they see something that she's looking at on the screen that they're kind of bothered with, and they're like, oh crap, we probably should be monitoring this more, because they're not really looking over her shoulder at all. They're not really monitoring it. So like, I did need more from the parents, because there's places where they're bordering on irresponsible to me, and the movie isn't meaning for them to look that way, but they do. So like, there's a I don't know. And to Jason's point earlier, that's a tough line to walk too, because you can also tell the movie wants the human characters to be a little in the background. Like, he doesn't want them to take over, because that's on brand for Toy Story. And I think that's why the parents aren't more featured, but they're really important to the story to not be checked in with more than they are. So that is a criticism I've got, but
I agree that that side of it could have been fleshed out more. Like we do get at least, I think, one good scene with the mom in the third act.
oh, totally.
Um, so at least we got that. That like we at least get one scene of her like confronting and realizing like, oh, you've like been harmed by this thing and by these other kids, and so that was a good scene. Whether you think it was earned or not, I'm glad we got that at the very least.
Well, the other thing, kind of related, kind of more thematically, to what you guys are saying, I really liked how the play sequences, it kind of like the imagination is sort of brought to life in a sort of style that emulates like Spider-Verse. It's
Yeah.
not ripping that off, but it does bring to mind that. And that does feel like this movie being self-aware and keeping pace with modern, like what,
Mhm.
like kind of like what the not like what the zeitgeist's into. It doesn't like completely abandon its origins. It sticks with it, but it does kind of recognize that there is this other thing that we can play ball with, and I thought that was pretty
Mhm.
cool.
I thought that was some of the prettiest animation in the movie was how they handled the fantasy sequences. I thought those looked really fun and
Well, and I
creative.
had a knee-jerk
Yeah.
reaction to it because I was like, "Oh, this doesn't look like a Pixar movie." And I'm like, yeah, I was like, with Connor. After a bit, I went, "Oh, they're making a point with this. Like, there's a reason they're doing that." And like that's the generation that Bonnie is of, and it does look really good. And it's also cool just to separate uh, that from the regular animation because these movies have done that going back at least to two where we'll kind of get in the kid's head and we'll like really flesh the world out like of the imagination but it's still in the same style and so it does and also she's more whimsical
Yeah.
even than
It
Yeah.
suits
Andy
her.
was.
It needs to be different than Andy's sequences
And
because they're playing
I,
differently.
I got a question for you guys because I'm a little bit of two minds. This is like, if this is a complaint, it's a high level complaint. They've already done the good thing, and now I'm wondering, could it have been a little cooler? Which is, I guess, since we're in spoilers, there's another girl that is in this story named Blaze, and we have an animation imagination sequence with Bonnie early on, and then later Blaze is playing with Jesse and some of these other toys, and it's in the same style. Now, part of me
Yeah.
wondered, what if Blaze's style was a little bit different than
Yeah.
Bonnie's? And then when they play at the end, it could sort of be this melding of the two. That's one way I looked at it. But then on the other hand, it's trying to say that these are like kindred spirits. So
Yep.
the
Yeah.
way they play is the same way, and that's why they're such good fits for one another. So the style is the same. So it's not really a complaint. It's just more of a thought that I had. And I feel like if I'm appreciating your animation on this level, you're doing something right. So,
Yeah.
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 Well, and just back to the lily pad stuff as the antagonist and the lesson Cap and you guys were talking about is, I mean, it went the direction I figured, like Connor was alluding to. It's a lot like Anxiety and Inside Out too, where it's the antagonist but it's not evil, and they come to an understanding at the end. But what I liked about the lesson is that what it shows when like the other kids are bullying Bonnie and she has her big breakdown. The lesson I think that should be taken from that is that like the tool itself like is not good or bad. It's the other kids that have harmed her, and the lesson to learn from that is you don't have to be the friends with those kids. Like you don't have to change who you are to be those kids. There's other kids out there, which is where we get to at the end, where she does find a real friend, and that all really landed for me.
But
That was such a good choice.
but I also like how realistic it is and the kind of commentary that it has about the way the somewhat malicious way the apps are targeted at children. So like the
Oh, sure.
technology itself is not evil, but there's stuff
Mhm.
in it that's like just dopamine hit. It does
Oh,
make a big
absolutely.
deal out of
Yeah.
how the games are not substantial. There's not they're not really teaching you anything. They're like like there's probably other things that you should be doing that are actually capturing your imagination. So it manages to get it both ways really
Mhm.
effectively.
Going back to the parental thing, I guess question for the parents. No, not really. I can speak on authority. I am a parent of nobody. So but
You
there
could have
was
a
something that I
sentient box
thought.
behind you.
Oh, that's true. That was a problem.
Ah!
I don't have a
Draw
marker
a
though,
face on
so
Oh, he's got a pencil. Wow, he really is our resident scholar.
And this is how we connected this to the Backrooms review.
Yep.
He's in the
this
back
is my
rooms,
pal
and one of
Boxy.
the
Ah,
boxes has come to life.
Oh my god, it's a monster. Oh my god, it's getting me.
stop! No.
So
Then when we're not looking, the box is like, "Hi, everybody, I'm a box."
Yeah.
um so Connor's robot son. Yes, I have this is my
That's what it
child.
says.
Yes, that's what it says.
Hey, buddy, time to go to bed. All right. So
I
but
can't wait for
something
Bride
that
of Box.
oh, I don't have a bridal anything to put over. Anyways, so but one thing that I thought was pretty neat was I kind of expected them to play this a little bit more dramatically, but I kind of like how they kind of keep it more in the subtext, which is her shyness about uh bringing toys to like a sleepover and like that kind of like anxiety about it. It does sort of, and I mean there's always been like a parental metaphor with these movies with the toys. It does kind of echo like kids suddenly like being kind of nervous about their parents being around their peers and how it's like, oh no, mom, go away, or dad, go away when you're dropping me off at school. Like I don't want to, like that kind of thing.
Mhm.
I kind of was picking up a little bit on that, but they didn't really like go too far into it when they did go to the sleepover. But I don't know if you guys saw any of that in there.
Oh, definitely, and I thought there was just enough of it. That's not a thing that I needed necessarily brought, too much more to the fore than it was, Connor. Um, I think that's thing that you can find an example for every generation going all the way back. Like
Mhm.
the things that are like too kiddie or too silly or too nerdy or whatever it is for the kids that are not really your friends that you want to like you because
Mhm.
you don't understand that they don't actually really care about you, and that again that they're not actually real friends. So like, and again, it's I feel like the example in this movie is a lot sadder than some of the other things I can come up with from my own childhood, because you've always had bullies that want to turn their nose up at like kiddie things, even though they're aimed at the same age that that kid is. So like when I was a kid, it was Power Rangers, it was Animorphs. Like at the point that I was like 10 or 11, I might get bullied for liking those things. Now it's you're 9 or you're 8. I guess she's 8, and then the friend she's making is 9. But
Mhm.
you're 8 years old, and the kids aren't making fun of you for a specific toy. They're making fun of you for toys. And like that's a big statement about just how much things have changed. And
Yeah.
that that seems that rang truth to me,
Mhm.
and
Cat
that's
did it all.
super sad.
Well, and to expand on that, Jesse and other characters, like they talk a lot in this movie about like kids growing up faster now due to this technology. Like, did that hit you?
Well, yeah. Well, like I said earlier,
Mhm.
it's that weird paradox of they're growing up too fast, but they always remain children all at the same time. Freaks me out.
Mhm.
Well, and that
Yeah,
connection. Okay,
oh
Connor.
sorry, go ahead, DJ.
I was just gonna say that connection. To go back to something Cap said, the reason it didn't really bother me that the parents weren't in it as much is because Jesse is filling the role of the parent in this. Like she is feeling like irrelevant and ill-equipped to give her child what she needs. She feels like she's like out of touch, like a lot of parents feel. Like you said, their kids are growing up, they don't understand their kids anymore, and she is having to, part of her arc is realizing that her presence in Jesse's life, or in Jesse's life, in Bonnie's life, a lot of girl names in this to keep straight, is still important, even if it doesn't look like it used to. Even if her role doesn't look like it used to, her role is still important in Jesse's life, and she just has to navigate, like I was saying earlier, the balance between using that stuff, learning, like keeping up to date. Because the big thing I took away from this was like, well, the big thing I've been saying things the whole time. There's a lot of things that I took away from this, but I loved the idea that, and another thing that hit home for me is you can't just stick your head in the sands and pretend that devices don't exist. Like they exist. They're a part of your kid's life, and it's your responsibility as a parent to teach them how to teach them healthy habits, to teach them how to use them as a tool. Because if you just like hide the devices and don't give them access to it, then they're going to grow up and they're not going to know how to use it. They're just going to get the dopamine hits over and over, and you're setting them up for failure. Like you actually have to do the work, um, and it's just your responsibility as a parent. It's just like how it is these days.
Well, it's
You
not
just have to
exactly
do
the
it.
same thing, but in a way, it's like it's not ever telling your kids about alcohol. I'm not saying you should give your kids
Yeah.
alcohol, but I'm saying if you never talk about it, they're gonna find it. They're
Mhm.
gonna be 18, they're gonna get out of the house, or in these days they'll be 27, and then they'll get out of the house, and then they'll go find alcohol, and nobody ever told them the dangers of that, or whatever it is, like insert cannabis, like
Yeah.
insert whatever. But like if you just pretend it doesn't exist, you're absolutely right. You can't put your head in the sand. And I also really
Yeah.
liked, to your point, DJ, that this is uh this is what you can do with a fantasy like this, where you go in real life. Sadly, in a lot of these cases, the parents just aren't paying attention. They're just not there, and
Hmm.
there's not anybody to come in and help the kids learn how to regulate emotion, and to put a limit on how much they're looking at the screens, and to make sure that they're careful about what they're looking at on them, and especially who they're talking to, on Discord or whatever. There's all kinds of horror
Hmm.
stories with predators and stuff. This movie obviously is not going to get into that stuff, but like that's a big reason that, so you need parents. If the parents aren't around, who's going to do the work? And so the fantasy element of this movie lets you go, well, the toys can do that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very much a contrast between Jesse and the neglectful parents. She's
Yeah, that's a
fighting for
good
it.
point. Hmm. And
Which makes it
oh, sorry, Jason.
which makes it kind of weird and funny, where it's just like, oh, this kid has bad parents, so the toys have to take over for the parent. I feel like that's kind of a weird.
It's fun and ironic though,
Yeah.
and it speaks
Yeah.
to the importance of toys, which seem like childish and superfluous, and like they're just there for entertainment. But
Mhm.
like this movie really gets to the heart of the importance of toys in kids becoming adults, which the whole franchise has touched on. But like,
Mhm.
I feel like this is really the culmination of all of that.
And
Yes.
this makes me want to bring up a point
Yeah.
that I had, where, I mean, all the way through Toy Story, the toys have, affected the real life, but you've always been like, oh well, just weird stuff happens, and you can't really um be like,
You
oh,
can't
the
you can't
toys are
explain what it
alive,
is. Strange things are
But
happening.
in this, they kind of take it up a notch, where with the tech, because the tablet can just send messages, and
Yeah.
it
That's
makes
horrifying.
it kind of
Yeah,
insane.
And it's manipulating everyone and constantly fraudulently pretending to be different people. The way you
Yeah,
know from the first act that the tablet is not going to be the same malicious sort of supervillain. And to echo whoever said it earlier, I really appreciate, like, maybe you could kind of call it, but I really appreciate that it just wasn't another one of those, and that again we're not completely vilifying the tech. But I you know that Lily's not going to be another Lotso or something, or the prospector from 2 or whatever, because if she was, she would have messaged the parents and asked for the toys to go in the trash, not the garage. Just throw those
Uh,
away.
It definitely would have been Lotso if he took him to the trash. But no, and it's not quite as like I like 4. Some of the world breakingness in that does get a little like where they are like the toys are just like yelling from beneath the console. It's like, okay, how much of this are we gonna do? I like the one where Buzz is like pressing his button a bunch, and they're like, just put it away, and he goes, go to the carousel, over, or something. You left your backpack in the thing, over, and then they go, wait a minute.
yeah, that one
that
pushes it.
that one's fine. So okay, now that I've done my homework, cut the check, Pat.
Got the check. Okay, so guys,
Um,
it's getting late for Jayson, and he's been up a lot lately, so he's gonna have to go to bed pretty soon. So I'm gonna give him the floor real quick because he hasn't got to say a whole lot this review, and make sure that he gets in some of the stuff you wanted to talk about. I don't know if you wanted to do our list of. This would be a good time for it after what we just talked about. But if we want to, if we want to talk about some of the silly things devices are able to do, I don't know if you wanted to get into that or if there were other
Yeah, we
points you wanted to make.
I did want to say that this was like an hour ago. DJ said he cried twice. I did cry more than that. Yeah, this was actually, I think this was the Toy Story movie I cried the most at, which I don't think makes it the best one, but for my standards, but because I cry at bad movies, so I'll cry at everything.
What was the big thing that most
can
emotionally
talk about that,
resonated
though.
with you? I don't mean a specific moment, although you can do that, but just like
Mhm.
what was there like a big idea or something that just like personally resonated with you
Well,
that
the
kept
big
hitting
third
that?
act thing resonated with me, or not resonated with me, but like
I mean, we're in spoilers, so
the big, I just can't even remember what it was.
Was it the tree?
It was the kid that's named after
Yeah.
Jesse.
Jesse.
That was the big one.
In that moment, I was thinking, and I was tearing up at that too. And then my critical brain went off, and I went, "Ooh, is this okay? Like, is this too retconny? Are we going back to?" And then I was like, "No, I think they're handling this okay."
No,
Because
I
the
like
first
that.
thing I thought was, if Emily, if that girl cared that much about her doll, if it emotionally, I mean, if it was that important to her, why did she get rid of it? And then I thought, no, that kind of thing happens. And I
Yeah.
bet she really regretted it. And I bet she bought one on eBay.
For way too
that's
much money.
That's a fair interpretation. I thought of that too, because as it's shown in Toy Story 2, like, yeah, she's probably like a teenager or a young adult when she gives away
Well-
that toy, not maliciously, but just donating it. And then, yeah, like you said, Cap might have regretted that years later, like, I shouldn't have gotten rid of that.
Remember how
Well, yeah, because
emotional
we see her in this.
Andy
She's got
was
like the
when he got rid of
phone
his
and everything.
toys, and
Sure.
he knows where they are. Like, Bonnie basically is like, you can always come back and visit them, and like, he might. Emily has no idea where, which is hilarious because apparently she went like 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
Not really.
No,
We see that
okay,
it's right outside of the city, but
There are like 4 or 5 major conveniences in this movie that I was like, okay, I'm rolling with it. Like, it's not bothering me, but I mean, right from the very beginning with the Jesse flashback, where it's like, okay, we're doing Toy Story 2 nostalgia. Remember the tree? Like, immediately, I'm kind of apprehensive. Like,
yeah.
okay, how manipulative is this going to be? Where are we going with this? And ultimately, that payoff did work for me. I was relieved.
I want to say all the stuff with Jesse's backstory, I think, is handled perfectly. I like that that houses Emily doesn't live there anymore.
Right.
And no one related to her lives there anymore.
No one related, because the car driving away tells a story. It doesn't mean she literally just drove away from the tree. It means she left there completely.
Yeah.
That's what that image says. And No one related there lives there, but it allows Jessie to sort of be haunted by this location and her past as she is kind of facing a similar crisis. This is all handled very well. I
If
also
this was
think
an
that
MCU movie, there would have been an 85-year-old Emily still living there.
yes, but also there has long been this like fan theory, and I like the theory that Emily is Andy's mom. But like, if you're gonna actually put that in a movie, I would be like, don't do this. Like,
No.
Okay,
I
real
could
quick,
say
what-
like five
what else
different
did you
things,
wanna
and I'm
talk
not going
about,
to
Jason,
say.
because I know you've got to go to bed.
Well, going back to the tech, I actually did like the lots of Buzz Lightyears a lot. And my reaction when they turned into drones was very funny.
He lost his mind.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny. Well, because I have childhood experiences with those not working. And so when they just like fly up and they actually work, it's the funniest thing.
That was spoiled for me because we had a viewer that
Oh.
that responded to the message I posted that we were doing this video that said they fly now.
Oh, that was one of the moments
Aw.
where I annoyingly talked out loud like a child. I was there was two moments. The first one was as soon as Jessie goes into as she's going into the closet, I was like, is she gonna call Woody? And I was like, crap, I just spoiled it for my son. And then right when that happened, as soon as she saw the button and he pushed it and they lit up, before they did anything, I was like, are they drones? And then they went, I was like, ah! Freaked out.
I don't know what the connectivity is about with them. I don't know what they do.
There are drones that are in light shows like that and are all connected and move together and make shapes.
Oh,
and
they
stuff.
made a star.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know
What-
why they would be hotspots.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Well, because there's a high tech toy. What else are high tech toys?
They
the
need it as a
Everything's
plot
fine.
device, Connor.
What-
That's why.
What do you think of the convenience of them finding Jesse? Oh yeah, and also,
It's
what do you
such a
think
stretch.
about the post in general? Because I thought that was
thought
just
all that was way too
really
easy.
contrived.
I would have much preferred one
Oh,
of
yeah.
our characters somehow stumbling upon them or something. As
Mhm.
opposed to it was really convoluted. They see the post and they run to it because there's a character with a star and they think that's Star Command. I don't even understand how all the Buzz Lightyears are logicking out to themselves that they're all the same character. It's we're all of Star Command, but we have the same name and we're the same person. We're all Buzz. That doesn't bother them at all.
Okay with being clones as long as they're humans.
Well,
and not
if
toys.
they all connect together, it might have been better if they were a collective consciousness where they all spoke exactly together and were like, "I am Buzz Lightyear," and they all were one character. That's maybe the way they should have
Wreck It Ralph too. They're all just they make a giant
Oh
buzz
yeah,
monster. That'd be horrifying.
I'm the only person that likes that movie.
But did you have
I've
this
seen it
thought?
once.
I'm gonna make.
I haven't seen it.
I'm gonna make my obligatory Star Trek reference for tonight.
Yeah.
They came together and they were the Culvert Starburst.
Yeah.
Did you have that thought?
No, not until now.
from the TNG episode, The First Duty.
The First Duty.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's such a
sorry. Good.
episode.
I know.
Just said duty.
But yeah, all the tech stuff that doesn't make any sense.
Shh, Connor, that's the stuff I didn't like. Sorry.
Yeah, so there's so the main tablet is this seems like it's supposed to be one of those little kid tablets that's $50 that just play some games.
But it does everything.
But it connects to the Wi-Fi, first of all. It has messages.
Well, why wouldn't it connect to the Wi-Fi?
Because they don't usually. I mean,
What do they connect to?
They don't. They're just a screen that has games on it.
No. We had a little kid tablet for Mikey
Mhm.
that did have online functionality.
okay.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. Where there's specific
My-
apps that you can get that are reading apps and
Yeah.
educational games and.
I'm not saying it's consistent, but what I assumed is the real world logic of it is that it can only send messages to other lily pad tablets, not just YouTube or Discord.
Yeah.
Where again,
And
the
printers.
implications are still horrible, and it's still very dangerous for children.
Yes, but
And
you
this
can
technology
also
should not
use it as a
exist.
smart home, and it can control your Roomba.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't. Yeah. Also,
Roomba that is also a shredder that destroys papers.
yeah.
My Roomba can't even get up like I don't even like anything. My Roomba sucks.
Look, in the Toy Story universe, everything works better than it ought to.
Yeah, yeah. So
Why is it? Is the Roomba alive? I don't know.
Also, there's a group chat
Sticky hand.
with 4 people.
I don't know, but the lily
including-
pad is sexually attracted to it, so she at least thinks. Anyways,
There's a group chat with Bonnie and 3 other people, and one of the other people.
This is my favorite point.
She sends a message. She sends an image of her playing with dolls.
She's
or,
being
no,
cruel.
she sends the image of the post, right? And 3 other people laugh react it. There are only 4 people in there, and one of them is Bonnie, and one of them sent it. So did she react her own post?
Yeah,
Yep,
probably. A lot of people
Totally
do that.
did.
That's true.
That's such a good point. Why would 3 completely unrelated online toy devices be able to link up to each other?
And why did
in
they connect
order-
to the Wi-Fi in the first place?
In order to make one of them like a more souped up computer that can send messages and things. They don't even look like they're made by the same company.
And why
so
is
I
the
don't-
toy phone able to okay? It's insane. It doesn't make any sense. So the camera is able to take pictures. That one makes sense. And then the toy phone can add a caption to it. I don't know why. And then the potty training toy can send it out, but it takes 10 minutes. But it shouldn't do it at all.
And then in the third act,
Didn't receive
it goes
emails.
much faster because the plot needs it to. I'm sorry, what, Connor?
It can send and receive emails because it's tapped into the pond. It's like, what?
It's like the morphing grid.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but why would a potty
no
training
sense.
toy of all things need to do any of that?
See,
I don't know what you would
no,
do.
that's
Are you
exactly-
downloading like body training facts? I don't know what do you need? It's pretty
That-
simple.
Why
2
does that
steps.
need an update? Like,
That I can only count.
all it needs to do is encourage you to go. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, good.
The I can only count to 2 joke was really funny.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, that one I liked.
Yeah, I was surprised. I actually didn't have any problem with I was surprised that they made new potty jokes that I hadn't heard a billion times. I was like, wow, they actually were clever and like made new jokes
I
out of
also
this.
think a major factor is Conan O'Brien's delivery on these. I think made it feel more timeless than like, whatever, kind of modern sensibilities you might be annoyed by. Like when he the completely like matter of fact way he said, "Hey, don't dump anything you can't flush." Like I had to double take to go, wait, what did he say?
No, there, like I said, there were some jokes that landed for me. I liked his vocal performance a lot. It's just the written jokes, like I said, they were just hit and miss for me. And it was also just the way some of those scenes were edited, like just some of the timing was off for me. But like I said, that I only had those issues like in the middle portion of the movie. But like I said, some of the jokes did land for me, for sure.
Yeah, I guess I thought the ones that didn't land, like that was the point for those jokes. Like it's like
That's
that
fair.
kind of joke where it's like you say it and everyone's like shut up, dude. It's like a dad joke kind of thing.
Can those
So
not
it
be
was
in
like-
the movie? I don't like those kinds of jokes.
It's okay. You're still like what, 16?
Yeah.
But DJ,
Yeah,
that
you got
is,
lots of time.
DJ, that is a good point you're making. Is that, and maybe I'll appreciate that better on a second viewing, where like they do play specifically that potty training character is kind of pathetic.
No one likes him. Yeah, no one else is laughing. Like Jesse thinks he's annoying. Like that's what I got from. I didn't think I was supposed to
Okay.
think he was like hilarious or anything.
He's a character out of the Brave Little Toaster.
Yes, all 3 of them. That was that. I want a Pixar Brave Little Toaster sequel. Like my kids were just watching. Speaking of me, like only raising my kids on old crap. They were watching Brave Little Toaster while we were out of town.
Yeah, because they
And,
finally put it on Disney
Oh, yeah.
Plus. There have been rights issues with that for
Oh.
decades. It's finally on Disney. Yeah, I'm gonna make Austin watch it.
Wow.
We're gonna do a blind commentary. I can't wait. I've wanted him to see
Oh,
that
that's amazing.
since he started on the channel 6 years ago. So I'm stoked.
That's amazing.
What else did you want to bring up before you go to bed?
I've still never seen Brave Little Toaster.
Well, I didn't have a good way to
Oh my God.
access it until recently.
Yeah. Yeah,
Still on Blu-ray.
really my big problem with it is I think on a second watch it'll be better. But I just think it's too short because it's what 90 minutes.
It's an hour 40.
It's
Around
over 90 minutes.
102, 104, something like that.
I thought it was in the second act when it ended. I think that's really I haven't had that experience with a movie where it just ends and I'm like, oh, that was supposed to be the third act. Okay.
I'm not as mad about it, but I agree to a point where I
Yeah.
do feel like there's a little bit of overcompensation happening for how overstuffed 4 was. I think they heard that criticism and
Mhm.
went, let's make it a lot simpler this time.
Mhm.
And I think for the most part, that was the right call. But I think it could have
really,
stood another 10 minutes.
4 he gets really shafted.
So
He was like the main character in the last one.
I think one of the big, well, yeah, and a lot of the old toys don't really get their moment to shine. Where like there's a line or two, and some of them are funny, but like they don't really get to do anything. I thought one of the biggest missed opportunities was when in the third act Lily decides to throw herself away. We do nothing with Forky with that. Like
Oh yeah.
I don't know what exactly you would do, but that was his whole arc with the first movie. I mean, sorry, with 4, with his movie, and it would have been really nice to somehow get him in to sign off on to sound off on that.
Mhm.
That's fair. I thought he had a few funny lines.
He absolutely
but-
did.
I think
For-
he
for-
would have benefited from more funny lines. From him.
I mean, for me, for a lot of the side characters, them having a very small role, for me, it was fine. Like that wasn't an issue I had. I thought the focus was on like the right characters for the main characters, so that was something that didn't bother me. That bothered Jayson. Like Rex was always one of my favorites, and I think he gets some funny lines, but I don't think he needed to be in the movie more. For
Yeah,
most of the
like-
side characters, I thought they were in the right amount.
Yeah, it's Mr. Potato Head does not sound like Don Rickles anymore. But I did
don't
get
love.
me
That's why
started
they
on
gave him
Slinky
2
Dog.
lines.
Slinky Dog.
Yes.
That guy doesn't sound anything like Jim Varney. How are you going to disrespect Jim Varney like that? Classic.
Oh, well,
but I
he's been
did-
doing it since 3.
I know, and I've been complaining since 3. It's an icon.
But-
You don't replace him with a guy who's not even doing a Jim Varney impression.
It's not
terrible.
Kermit the Frog bad, but it's not good.
But I do love Wallace
Okay.
Shawn's like delivery of it's extinction, not again, or something to that effect. That was
Well,
pretty
and
good.
to that point, Connor, I think part of why I was a little disappointed with some of the characters that didn't get much to do is because they sold it on some of them with the trailers. So like that line is in the trailers, and then that's the only
Oh,
thing
is
he
it?
gets to
Okay.
say, really.
That joke at
See,
the
it's
very
funny.
beginning with CPR is really funny though.
Oh, I
I
forgot about
Yeah.
that.
laughed so hard at that.
Dude, I think some of the
That's
best
great.
writing in the movie is the make-believe sections.
Yeah.
They're all really funny
really
and
good.
really and I also love the kind of dark humor of and this seems also like mining for truth to me. Like I bought this. I think we all remember as children we were all like this to some degree. The children always end their stories in like the worst, most horrific possible ways. Like bombs go off, everybody dies. It's wonderful. It's really funny.
Yes.
There was a lot of dark humor. Like we meet Woody like saving a suicide jumper.
Yes.
Like
I like that
"Jesus
scene a lot.
Christ." Like there's no metaphor for this. He's just saying he's gonna kill himself in a kids movie. Like what is happening?
And in a time where people complain that Pixar's kind of lost its edge, it's nice that it's doing that kind of stuff again. Like I missed the Pixar that was doing Incredibles and almost felt like it wasn't even paying attention to the kids watching. It doesn't even feel like a kids movie. This brought some of that energy back.
I had that with this. I was at the end of it. I was like, I loved that. I don't know how much kids are going to love this because it felt like it was made like with the parents mostly in mind.
That's what people have been saying since 3. Like I remember that discourse happening a lot with 3. Was,
Yeah.
oh,
Which I'm
this is
okay
Yeah,
like
but
with.
for the adults, but I don't know if kids are
Like
gonna
Harry
enjoy this.
Potter, like
see,
we've grown up
Mm,
with them.
when I was a kid though, like those kinds of movies were the ones I responded to. Like
Yeah.
it
mhm.
felt like I was watching something that was obviously not condescending or talking down to me. Like I loved The Incredibles. Like I had a huge
Yeah.
Incredibles phase as a kid. Um,
Yeah.
Well, what's
Definitely I
great is
liked that more than Open Season. So
if the kids are watching and
Anything.
look at the box office, they definitely are. Like, you know,
Yeah.
the parents are bringing them. I I feel like this is a weirdly important movie. I because it is intentionally, but it's well integrated in the story, teaching iPad kids what play is about. And I think it does it so well that they're going to want to venture out and try that. I
Yeah.
also like if they haven't been doing that, and I also appreciate. I meant to say this earlier that when you get to the end of the movie, the message is not like here's how we can fix this problem in mass. Like it's too big. Like nobody
Yeah.
knows I how to get all the kids off the tablets except to individually get the parents to get them to go outside and touch grass or for things like this to suggest to children that there's a better way to live and that you shouldn't let your childhood slip away. And when you get to the end of the movie, I think like the most important impactful moment is not just the two girls finally getting together and realizing that they're kindred spirits and that they want to actually play together, but the kids across the street that run across and want to play with them. I
Mhm.
it's about the individual basis. It's you get one and then you get two and then you get four. And you solve this problem one by one, and
Mhm.
it
Well, and
really
that's
gets it. It's so important that somebody is saying this, and I'm glad that it's really popular because that message is going to actually reverberate.
well, that's a whole other
I
part
agree.
of it too, of the tablets
Good night, Jason.
Good night.
message is not just like there's a conformity versus individuality. Like if everyone is just doing the same thing and everyone's on the tablets together and they're all talking about the same things, then you're not getting the chance to explore and figure out who you are and actually
Mhm.
you figure that out through being silly. I loved that where they were just like that scene where she just like goes for it and like acts like a goofball and then Bonnie's not ready to meet her there yet and she like feels super embarrassed and starts walking away. It's
Mhm.
like you have to be willing to do that. You have to be willing to be, and that's where I think there's a whole other part of the metaphor that I'm glad they waited this long to tell it, and it's just circumstance. They couldn't have predicted this, but because this is kind of dated, like we talked about, this is like 10 years ago basically. But now that they've waited so long, it now can relate to the whole AI craze and
Mhm.
having to use AI as a tool. Creatives, because creatives are working on this film. That's who's writing it. That's who's making it. That's what's on the forefront of their mind right now. Like you have to use it as a tool to help you in your creative endeavors. You can't just like you still have to be creative. AI is not going to replace any of that. It's not going to get the scratch that itch. So there was a lot in there that I related to with that too, as someone who
Mhm.
uses AI every day in my job, but I'm also have a creative job as a product designer and I have to figure out how to use it as a tool. So it was like on, like I said, multiple levels. It works with for the parents raising the kids so that they can use these tools. And then also the parents have to figure it out for themselves because we weren't raised with this. And most of us
Mhm.
are heavily addicted to our phones and we don't know how to break out of that because we didn't build the patterns early on.
I like that the
Yeah.
movie acknowledges how long it waited to talk about this. Like I thought that was kind
Mhm.
of like nice and tongue in cheek, where it's like like when they go outside and they're talking to like Combat Carl in the garden and everything. It's like where have you been? The tablets have taken over for years, and they come up with a really good reason. You know that like the parents have just shielded the daughter. I wish they had made this is neither here nor there, but considering that Blaze also I like even though she's on the tablet, has managed to still like keep her innocence to some degree, and she's still using her imagination and all of that. I wanted her parents to be homeschool parents.
Hmm.
I would have really appreciated a nod to that phenomenon. That like it's if you don't send your kids to public school, they're a lot less likely to get as roped up into the technology. I kind of wish that had been in there somewhere, but
Well,
that's a
I'm glad
minor thing.
she.
And I have a bias
Yeah,
because I'm a homeschool parent, and that's a big part of my life. But anyway,
I think that's why they a big part of why she's like a farm girl and she actually has horses that she
Yeah,
has to take
yeah,
care
like
of. And I think they're I don't know if they come out and say that, but they are doing she's definitely not the normal suburban daughter.
mhm. Yeah, she's an outdoorsy kid. Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention earlier with again just the message is how speaking as someone who's not a parent, I have a visceral reaction and hatred of parents who just give their kids devices and pay no attention to them and aren't involved in their lives and are just like, here you go. Who parents who don't want to raise their kids is something that like
why
really
did you
affects
have
me
them?
and irritates me. Exactly. Um, and I appreciate that the movie kind of addresses that, but also like you were talking about earlier, the other extreme being parents who refuse to let their kids use technology and think all technology is evil and don't want them touching the stuff. And there's got to be a middle ground. I think anyway, and I think that's where the movie comes on. Just to kind of reiterate what we were saying earlier, is I like the middle ground of it. That no, both extremes I think are bad and don't work in my opinion. But there's just got to be balance.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I also
that was
think that the
wordy.
movie does a good job at just signaling that from the get-go. Like the mission statement
Mhm.
of the film is embedded in the high-tech Buzz Lightyears. Like I
Yeah.
think like having that is just a
That's fair.
good kind of moving metaphor for it. So one thing I also liked though, kind of what the reveal that the high-tech Buzz Lightyears are drones. Awesome. I didn't see that coming. It was hilarious. It
Yes.
made me laugh. But it also, going back to something you've kind of been going back to, Cap, is you were talking about how like there's the importance of play and how like you know, kids that don't play and exercise their imagination, it's not that just that they're like growing up too fast or that like they're uh sorry, my bad. But it's one of those things where like you're talking about critical thinking skills, and it's like this movie makes the distinction that like or like it makes the argument that like that imagination is what develops the critical thinking skills. Like storytelling is problem
Mhm.
solving, it is getting resourceful and whatnot. And I just had a thought as I was watching Buzz Lightyear get carried around by a Buzz Lightyear drone. Is I
Yeah.
did kind of have this thought of like call this millennial exceptionalism or whatever, but millennial pride or whatever. But I was sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I could imagine my Buzz Lightyear could fly than having a Buzz Lightyear that could literally fly. Like, I think
Mhm.
that meant something,
Yeah.
because I did have a
Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear toy as a kid. So I don't know. I think it's just yeah,
Well, it
That's a
walks
it's
an
yeah.
cool.
interesting line where it makes those toys really cool. Like we
Mhm.
open the movie with the technology has gone too far, but it's actually really fun. And you don't get the scary version of it until the lily pad. But then, and I don't know if this is on purpose, but isn't it interesting that the tablets are turning children into drones, and then in the third act it turns
Yes,
out that the high-tech Buzz Lightyears are drones.
that
Yeah.
Yes.
was pretty good.
Well, that's just a thing like I've dealt with ever since I've had kids. And when I was a kid, like the electric toys just suck. They're really cool for like the day you get it as a present, and then you never play with it again. Like, who wants a car track where the car just goes around by itself? Like, I want to
Mhm.
play with the cars. I buy my son's really into cars and tracks, and all the tracks these days just like shoot the car around, and you just stand there and watch it go around and around. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Just give me like pieces. Whatever happened to track pieces? I sound like such an old man. You make our own tracks. Like
Yeah.
it's really hard to find those these days. All of them are like these big loop de loop things that just shoot the car, and he does something really cool, and then you watch it a couple times, and then it goes in the closet. My son never plays it again.
Hmm.
But
What kind of cars is your son into?
well, I got him into the Pixar cars because I like that movie a lot, and they are like some of the biggest collectibles you could like those. They've been ever since the first Cars movie. They're still putting out new like those are ridiculous. Like you. My brother used to collect those when he was a kid. He was really into that movie, so that's like been something that I got my son into, and really cool because I'm a collector and I like passing
It's
that on to my son.
surprising
Which
to me
was-
that Toy Story hasn't had the cars from Cars as toys, like
Yeah.
along with Hot Wheels.
oh yeah, because they do all those cameos in their films.
Yeah, because sometimes they'll do little
Mhm.
cameos. Like they could have had that where it's like here's a Lightning McQueen like in the middle of all the Hot Wheels, just like subtly throw them in there. I don't know why they don't do that.
Interesting.
Loosely related to that, when I was watching Toy Story 4 yesterday, I noticed that there was like a reference to Up in that movie, where like the sheep find a grape soda like pop lid.
Oh, okay.
They bring it up to Bo Peep, and she's like, we don't need that. And then it's only in like the corner of the frame for a couple of seconds, but
Oh, I missed that.
yeah,
They
that
love-
was cool.
They
Well,
love doing
and-
that stuff.
Then there's stuff like the Pizza Planet truck that shows up in every movie. I like those little touches.
Well, here we are 2 hours in. Should I talk about why I cried?
Yes!
Go for it.
Teased at the beginning.
Also, somebody has a stuffed Nemo somewhere, but I can't remember. Maybe it's Monsters Inc. I can't remember, but
I think
That's
Inc.
Monsters, Inc.
He has a Jessie and a Nemo, and when she's giving all her toys at the end.
And I believe that was before Finding Nemo came out, so it was like a little Easter egg for the future. Because even the design, I think, is a little different,
oh, weird.
if I remember it right.
Because Monsters Inc. is 02 and
That's-
Nemo's 03.
I never even thought
Okay.
about that. That's true. Anyway, DJ, why'd you cry? It was at the tree
I'm
scene.
a baby. Because I bring my toys to sleepovers and all the kids make fun of me. No, I cried at the scene that you mentioned. You guessed it, but it wasn't just because of the tree, like you, because you weak at
No,
weak
I
at the knees
know.
every time
Well,
you see that
look,
tree.
the tree had already gotten a lot of screen time at that point. I wasn't crying because of the tree at that point. It was the reveal of the daughter name.
Yes,
The tree's gonna be your rosebud, is what we've learned about Cap.
the tire swing is the sled.
He brought that song back in the soundtrack. When we
Yes.
Oh,
first
the score
introduced
is so good. Yeah,
the
that was
tree.
really cool.
And that was one of Jason's favorite parts. He didn't get to talk about that, but he mentioned to me that he was really in
I-
love with the score.
I just
Sorry,
love that it becomes
sorry.
Jesse's theme, like it's woven
Yeah.
in throughout. Like it just becomes Jesse's theme now, which is really cool.
It's wonderful.
Sorry, just before I forget to mention it. I was kind of relieved that they never did the full song with the lyrics, because I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
would have been going too far into nostalgia manipulation. So I was relieved at how subtle.
Yeah, but I could have used
That
it in the
choice
closing
was.
credits. They could have done that.
That's fair.
That
That
would've
the
been alright.
Taylor Swift song,
But
that was lame.
you have to have
'Cause we-
Taylor Swift write a song.
Because we
For your
bring
movie.
back You've Got a Friend in Me all the time. There's no reason you can't pick one of the other big songs and bring it back. And I, like a lot of
That's fair.
people, missed a Randy Newman song in this. One of the best things
Me too.
in 4 is I Won't Let You Throw Yourself Away. It's one of my favorite songs now. I listen to it all the time. And I've kind of become a Randy Newman fan. I've listened to a couple of his actual song records. He's fascinating. His music is all over the place. Check out his 1999 album. I think it's Bad Love. The album's insane. There's a hard rock song on it. There's a western song. There's like a cowboy song on it, and there's and then there's a bunch of his like kind of standard blues stuff. But anyway, it's fascinating. He has a whole song
I
about
think-
Karl Marx. Like it's a really bizarre record.
I think
Connor
we can split
is
the difference. Let's split the difference. Let's just get Taylor Swift to cover the song from Toy Story 2, and we can put it all to bed. So.
But I've heard the reason that he didn't do a song for this is because he had an injury
Oh,
somewhat recently that where like he can still write. I don't know how true this is, but
okay.
apparently he can still write score just fine. But like he's only recently been able to start playing the piano again, so like songs are hard for him. I don't even know if he can sing
Okay.
at this point.
C- C- Connor, before this, is 2 the only one to not feature any Randy Newman vocals
I don't know.
in it? Uh,
Oh, I
I
just
didn't
lost your
think
check.
3 did either, but maybe where is
well,
Strange
3 had you have a friend in me again, and a new song
that
at the
comes
end.
back? Where is Strange Things Are Happening?
That's the first
First
one.
one.
That's one.
Oh, was that in 1? So he's got 2 in that movie? Okay.
3.
3. Wow. Okay.
Okay. Well, you've got a friend in me, Strange Things, and the I'll Go Sailing No More.
Oh, I forgot
So I
about
get to
that.
be those 3.
Okay, but DJ was explaining why he cried.
I know. I'm sorry. I derailed us all, but
Sorry,
I had
TJ.
to. I had to talk about Randy Newman. I apologize.
No, and the very next year in 2000, Cap, Randy Newman would do the soundtrack with Elton John and Hans Zimmer and John Powell for one of the greatest animated movies of all time, The Road to El Dorado, which
Was
is
that
great.
that
It's
Oh.
amazing. Such good music.
Okay.
It's so good. And I just recently showed that to my daughter for the first time, and she freaking loved it. And she watched it like 5 days in a row. But anyway, speaking of this, perfect segue. The reason I wept, not just teared up this time, they actually rolled down the cheeks, dripped off the chin. It was crazy. It never happens to me, and that's why it's 4.5, and that's why it's apparently my favorite Toy Story movie. But I I just I feel like that's a very modern idea also, and it's something that you and I deal with a lot. Cap, is your childhood is so much more a part of how you raise your kids these days than it ever has been. Like the parents are so much more interested in what their kids are into these days. Like I'm not saying it was never the case, but like broadly, like generically, my dad, my wife's dad doesn't know anything about Grace. Like he couldn't name a single like show that she liked or book that she read or any of that stuff. Like it was just like different, especially where we are in the South. I guess is probably a little bit more behind, but like the nostalgic generation, like millennials are the nostalgic generation, and we give our kids part of ourselves. Like that's what raising your kids is. It's not just raising them, but it's imbuing yourself in them. And since a lot of us millennials find our values and our core values we get from our entertainment, especially like pop culture entertainment, you passing that on to your kids is you giving them part of you to move on with. And just that was just a perfect metaphor for that. Like she named her daughter Jessie. And it just all, and I didn't see it coming. Like it all just like, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like it was already like it was building and it was welling up. And then as soon as the reveal happens, it's just like, and me and Grace both looked at each other. We're both like crying. It was crazy.
Well, and you
A
vicariously
lesser. Oh, sorry.
sorry, real quick. You vicariously relive your own childhood through having children, and so you may think that you've lost interest in whatever your big giant childhood thing was, and that's why she gives the doll away. And then you have a kid, and then all you want is for your kid to play with that doll.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, like
Because
I named my
that's your form
daughters
of
after
connection.
Batman characters. Like yeah, you're right. I mean, our generation does that. Absolutely.
That's our form of connection these days. Like we connect over entertainment. Whereas
Yeah.
I don't feel like that was the case a few generations ago. You connected over like values and beliefs and religion other
Mhm.
ways, but
And obviously
there's a
everybody's different.
reason.
I feel like I was
Yeah.
raised that way to some degree. Like my dad and I, our big touchstones are pop culture things, and that's part of why I am the way I am. But I didn't have that as much with my mom. Maybe Disney movies and stuff. But
Yeah. Obviously everyone's different, but like I just feel like as a whole, like the millennium generation is so into that. Like that's what 90% of the things that we buy with our adult money is just stuff that we had as a kid.
Mhm.
And it's
Well, I
very
think it also is a nice evolution of one thing I noticed on this viewing of the first Toy Story is that like Andy is the only boy in his household. He's got a mom and a sister, and there's no dad
Mhm.
around. And he's got the
Mhm.
cowboy and he's got the spaceman. These are masculine role models for him to sort of be the parent of, so he gets to control them.
What a
But they're
great
also
point.
like they're also parents, and they kind of raise him. And so like that is kind of cool to now have like uh the Emily side of things, like seeing what that looks like when someone grows up. And like we don't really know Emily's situation with like her parents or anything, but you can write any backstory you want, because it is like it's the right kind of way for letting an audience map their own kind of story onto this character. And to bring like the child parent metaphor back to it, this is something my brother mentioned after we walked out. Is it's like you kind of need to spell out, especially for the kids, because this is a big topic for them to try to understand, that like he named her daughter Jessie. The thing they don't spell out is this girl died young. And it's one of those things where Jessie is feeling useless, but it's like, okay, are you going to call that child who died early useless? Like, that's a great thing for Jessie, whether she's like aware of it consciously or not. Like, it does motivate her purpose moving forward, even if she does feel like discarded or abandoned, or like these cycles keep ending and restarting. Like, it gives her an engine and a motivation. It's really cool.
Well, maybe the most impressive thing about the movie is that it made me feel like something was really missing with Jesse's story that they had to finish. Like I never had that before.
Mhm.
And so like the movie doesn't feel superfluous. It's like it had an unfinished business, and like Toy Story 5 feels like it needed to happen. Like in a way that 4 didn't, even though I like that movie.
Mhm. Yeah, because like Jesse's PTSD has always been present after two. Like it's there in three. We just don't dwell on it. Like it's not at the
Well, and
forefront.
there's a short where they have her kind of get over her claustrophobia.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh wow.
It's like Storm in the X-Men cartoon, where every movie we have to have a moment to be like, remember, he doesn't like being in dark spaces, everybody.
Don't worry, I will make a snowstorm.
It's really
Rock,
cool. Like
no.
I felt like this kind of feels like a trilogy now, where we get Buzz's story, and then 2 is all about Woody, and now we have Jesse. That's probably just because I've only seen 3 and 4 once, and I don't remember anything about them. But like for me, it kind of feels like because we get a Woody story, we keep getting Woody stories, but to
Mhm.
switch this to Jesse's story, like the big 3, it feels cool because I love 1 and 2.
Mhm.
Actually used to love 2 like I had 1 and 2 on VHS as a kid, but I always watched 2. I never really watched 1. But actually with you, Cap, when we did that mystery commentary on 1 several years ago now, that was like my best watch of 1, and it like jumped up over 2 for me, and I had a really good time watching that
That
with
was a
you.
really good watch. I've kicked around at Pixar Mania. We might do that at some point. Then hopefully I can get you in on some of those.
Yeah, I would love to. I haven't seen any of the last few years. I've kind of
We
fallen
probably wouldn't
off,
do
kind of like I
everything.
have with superhero
We
movies.
might go up to a certain date and then see if anybody cared about a sequel to it. But we like the 2 week format now. One question I had, and we're almost at 2 hours, so we'll wrap up here in a few minutes. But one big question I had is how do the toys uh manage to get the kids to specifically marry them when they want to have a wedding? I don't understand that. The toys decide themselves we're going to get married. Then they do it twice because they do it with Forky at the beginning and then they do it with Jesse and Buzz at the end. The the toys have their own arc where they fall in love and they decide to get married, and then at conveniently the right time, Bonnie decides to have a play session where they get married. I don't understand how that works.
The Force.
Of
Yeah, I
course.
can't remember. Did they set themselves up in a certain way? I can't remember what happened at the end, but
I don't remember.
Yeah.
There are several conveniences we
Well,
could
it
talk
makes no
about.
sense. Like Buzz,
There's a
it's been
lot
a
of
year. Like, why is Buzz
yeah.
Buzz taking so long between?
Okay, I figured it out.
do
I figured
this?
it out. No, DJ, I figured it out. Here's why. Because Bonnie's a girl and boys don't marry their toys. Like, that's why.
Oh, okay.
Like, I had the same thought of like, Buzz, are you gonna make googly eyes at Jesse for 20 years? Like, come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, but you
Yeah, but why did it take
as
him
a
this
guy-
long to say anything to her? Like, that doesn't have anything to do with
Well,
the kids
there you go.
playing. The kid,
Because
the
the
kid
movie's
playing
happening now.
conveniently happens when they need it to. That's my point.
Yeah.
well,
It's also
Movie magic.
weird how long we left Bonnie a toddler.
Yes
well, so
and no. Like,
she's
so
8 now, right?
Yeah, she's
that
8
that would
now.
mean okay. So she's like maybe 4 in Toy Story 3. Because remember, in Toy Story 4, she's starting kindergarten. So this would be a few years after that.
Yeah, but the problem is, I don't exactly know what the timeline is, because we've now just
Oh.
upped it to, it looks like it's kind of happening right now. Although, unless you guys can think of anything, I don't know that there's anything to suggest that this couldn't be taking place 7, 8, 10 years ago.
I think it is. I think it is.
It would have to be if you care about the timeline.
Yeah.
Makes sense because they have like a dumbed down version of technology. Like, well, in some places the drones are crazy, but like the lily pad is like an old looking iPad, and the toys are. I mean, it does seem like it's a little.
But the
And-
social, I will say, the social media aspect of that feels more now than it does 10 years ago. Like the idea that
Especially
the girls
with
all
kids.
have a specific time every morning that they get together and they play their game, and like, yeah, that was probably happening 10 years ago, but it's really prevalent now.
That's true.
I don't know. 8th grade came out 8 years ago now, which sounds crazy.
Oof.
It's
No kidding.
2018.
Because if the first movie literally takes place in 1995, like this timeline doesn't completely make sense. But whatever.
No, I think it does, because A, Lightyear says this,
That's
and then
true.
B, in Toy Story 2, tour guide Barbie says that in 1995, short-sighted
Okay.
retailers did not order enough supply. So
Okay, he's back. He's back.
You got it.
He didn't know the music thing, but he's back.
redeemed, baby.
He's just trying to get me to add dollars to the check.
Dollars. Yeah, no, I have look, I invested in Steelbooks like 7 years ago, and I finally used them. So
It's always great when you watch a movie that you bought like 15 years ago, right after you watched it the first time, and then you haven't watched it since.
yeah. Like, I don't know when I'm gonna watch Come Back to the Five and Dime Jimmy Dean, but maybe in 2 years, maybe in 10.
I feel like if Criterion did WALL-E, they should do at least the first Toy Story, if not a box set. But I
Yeah.
don't know how their licensing is with that, and if that was just like
Mhm.
one deal they had with Disney and never again. Like, I don't know, but I've got
DJ, you
that.
want to handle that one?
It's really cool.
Sure, that was the director like really pushing for that.
Oh,
like
is
he
it?
made that happen.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
think that would have happened without him. I mean, I don't think Disney and Criterion are like knocking down each other's doors.
It's
The Good Dinosaur will be the next one.
Yeah, well,
I will fight for Good Dinosaur. I actually really like that one.
No, Arrow will make that for no reason. Arrow will make Incredibles. They're obsessed with putting out comic book movies that aren't big.
And
too.
Brave. Brave is their sword and sorcery.
Oh, there you
right?
go.
They do Conan.
Yes, they've been doing
and,
so many sword and sorcery movies. Right there with Red Sonja.
Excalibur.
Excalibur,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I saw that Red Sonja release. It's crazy.
The Red Sonja Brave double pack is perfect.
There you
Yeah,
go.
baby. Red Sonja. Your sister's dying. So good.
I'll take you to a. That's how he says it. It's amazing.
I wanted to address this real quick. Earlier, oh, I'm sorry, Robert. Did you want to say something?
Well, I don't know if this is gonna be related to that or not. Can I complain about something regarding the tree scene that hasn't come up yet? Which is like the big most emotional scene of the movie. So A, there is the contrivance of Jessie has like this name and address written on her that we've never seen before. That now is a plot point just to get her back to that location.
Yep.
Okay, whatever. I'll roll with it. But the thing that actually bothered me is the tree scene, which is very emotional and very impactful. So they dig up the lunchbox or whatever and look at Emily's things. And then they leave it. They don't bury it back. And I'm like, you prick! They left it out. Nobody thought to put it back in the hole.
Well, she's moved on. That's all she needs. She has closure.
Ah.
Now close the lunchbox and bury it.
Exactly.
So, but DJ, what was the second thing that made you cry?
Oh, it was the parents seeing their daughter at the end, making an actual true friend, like finding a kindred spirit, because she was clearly like a kid who was having trouble, and they felt like Jessie. They also felt kind of powerless. They weren't really equipped to help her get what she needed out of it. So seeing her, because that sucks, man. Like my kids come home and talk about kids suck. Like they're very like I remember
your first folks. DJ says kids suck. Out of context.
Not your kids suck. The kids your kids go to school with suck. Like my son went to school one day. He went to Primrose, which is the pre-K around here, and we have like all these t-shirts that he just like, we keep all these t-shirts, and he just wore like a Primrose Schools t-shirt to school one day, and he's in first grade now, and like all the kids made fun of him for wearing a preschool shirt, and he like came home like upset because they were all making fun of him, and I was just like, why? Like, just like, yeah, it's just. So yeah, I don't know. It really moved me at the end to see them reacting to their daughter finally finding someone.
And that makes a kid think something is fundamentally wrong with them. That like it's a character flaw. Like nobody else likes this thing or is wearing this thing or is playing with this thing but me. Something's wrong with me.
And that's why it hit me so hard. It's like I'm raising my kid on like Charlie Chaplin movies and like Little Rascals shorts, and I want them to be. I'm trying to be a good parent. I'm trying to make them well-rounded and appreciate all different kinds of media. But I mean, no one in my kids' class knows what a Power Ranger is. Like my daughter goes to school and like wants to play Power Rangers with them, and they're like, "What the hell is Power Rangers?" Like they don't even know. And it's like, man, am I doing my kids a disservice? Like I need to be more actively letting them find common ground with their peers. So I don't know. That's why I've been thinking about the movie all weekend. It was just like it was so nuanced about it and thought provoking. That's why I got so much out of it.
And you were right when you said that both extremes are bad, but I will, with a clear bias, say one extreme is worse than the other extreme. If I had to pick between hold my kids up and unplug the internet versus they look at a screen all day, I'm absolutely unplugging the internet. Like one of these extremes is absolutely worse than the other. And also, DJ, what do you do when all the entertainment that the other kids want to expose your kid to is vacuous and does nothing for their minds or their imagination or anything? So like, you're right. You have to find a balance, but it ain't a perfect balance. That is a teeter-totter that you're going to put more weight on one side than the other.
Yeah, but admittedly, a lot of things that we do as parents is just personal. Like some of it is obviously there is some truth to that, but there is also some of it's just like, I don't like that. I don't want to watch that with you guys. Like there is like some stuff like that where I have to really just like suck up my own personal stuff and be like, they're actually getting stuff out of it. If nothing else, they're getting cultural references that they can make with their kids, which is community building and which is what entertainment is for. I mean, obviously it's educational as well, but like a lot of it is community. And if I'm not giving them that, then I am at least holding them back in some way. So I can do both. I can educate them, but also like let them get that stuff out of it.
And that also gets really complicated because we don't have the monoculture we used to have. And so these kids are still like adults really splintered in all of the different things that they're looking at. Because, like, yeah, you've got Bluey and like everybody's watching that. You
Yeah.
have like freaking Paw Patrol, which is the bane of my existence. But like it's there,
It never
and
ends. Season
most
39, whatever they're on.
yeah, and every episode is exactly the goddamn same. But
And a new motion picture.
but then there's
With dinosaurs.
There's more than one. Yeah, because that is the most corporate cynical thing, where it's all dinosaurs sell. Throw in freaking Paw Patrol. I guarantee you, when Blaze and the Monster Machines gets a movie, it will also be dinosaur. But
Well, Minions versus Monsters has dinosaurs in it too. The very Dino
of
Summer,
course it
guys.
does.
I love how Minions and Monsters has a film noir set in the 1920s because it's a love letter to cinema. No, but DJ, I think it's really cool that you do that, because one of the things that I learned from my dad that I know I don't want to do if I ever have kids is what he would do is if he didn't like something that I was watching, I was not allowed to watch it. So like I was not allowed to watch Dexter's Laboratory. I wasn't allowed to watch any anime because he saw Pokemon. It was like it's all of it's just yelling and fighting. So none of anime is good. And then eventually Cartoon Network was just off the table entirely. And what it led to me doing is like I watched like SpongeBob and Drake and Josh, and I'm like, I like these, but I have to hide it because my dad won't like this because the track record suggests he doesn't like it. I can't watch it. And so I think like you just going, I don't like that, I'm gonna leave. It's maybe a good thing.
Well, and also I just need to suck
For
it
the
up
record, I
sometimes. Like,
let my kids watch some things I don't like, but I preview things and I make sure that it's not like
certainly,
horribly detriment. Like I let the girls watch that stupid Spidey show on Disney Plus. I hate that. Like I really
Yeah.
hate it.
yeah,
It makes
I mean,
me
you have-
angry,
you have to.
actually, but I let them watch it because they love it. And like, there's
Because-
nothing wrong with it. It just sucks. I don't know.
I mean, that's what we're talking. That's what we're saying. Like, they need to be able to explore and find out what they actually like, not just what their parents like, or what their friends like. I need to open up and actually let them explore and figure it out. And I can suck it up and sit down and watch Bluey with them if I need to, and then they can make references with me, and they can make jokes and callbacks to it, and I can actually know what they're saying and be active and not just because that's what it is. That's what the movie's about. Like it's about. It doesn't matter if it's a tablet or if it's toys. It's not exactly saying this because her parents don't play with them, so I guess I am reaching a little bit here, but it's about time and attention. And Jesse's the parent for this, so it's about spending time with the kids, whatever you're doing, not necessarily like tablet, toy, whatever. Like, don't just sit the tablet in front of them and leave. Like, actually be involved and be active and stuff.
Yeah,
like
these
that.
parents are honestly kind of clueless. Like I sympathize with them to some degree, but like I don't know. Jesse needs to sit down with the parents and explain to them how to play with their children.
Look,
He needs to tell the tablet to text them the rules. Like, she could just take over the tablet and tell the parents that they're being idiots.
That was a joke that really got me.
She pretends to be some random therapist and is just sending messages about how to parent.
That was a joke that really got me. That they couldn't touch the tablet because of their plastic fingers. It's like
that was great.
the lizard or whatever.
Yeah, except I don't think that would work
the lizard
either.
around.
I don't think you could. I don't think if you put the lizard skin up against the screen that it would actually touch the screen.
I never tried it.
I thought them figuring out if you just say "Hey Lily," that like bypasses her motives. Like it's really good.
That was great.
That was clever.
Yeah, it was
well,
horrifying
there's a
for
lot of
both
things.
sides. Like, she's texting from Bonnie to everyone, but also she could just be controlled at any time, and she has to do what they say.
Well, going back to like what I was saying earlier about like how Andy like has like the spaceman and the cowboy and how like these are kind of like masculine role model types. It also does sort of feel like a you can sort of extrapolate that to being kind of anything, like whether it's radio shows or TV, or it's sort of about being raised by your entertainment and your media and like how those aesthetics affect you, you know, like the cowboy like instills in you like virtue just by like being the cowboy. And I think like this does sort of recognize like the tablet is that as well. Like it's a more social interactive form of entertainment, but it does serve that function. And um
Well,
yeah, and I think it does have a very mature outlook on it.
and our kids definitely will have nostalgia for it, and I have it to a certain degree. Like every day in computer class in like fifth grade, we would play Oregon Trail, and we were so pumped to play Oregon Trail. And it was like once a week we got to play Oregon Trail at computer class at the end of like the last 15 minutes or whatever. And I like have a lot of nostalgia for that. I don't ever go back and play Oregon Trail, but like I have that memory. Like and some stupid like ABC mouse learning app or whatever that some kid grew up with on their tablet that they would go to. Like I still have memories of like the computer pinball on my grandma's crappy old tiny computer that she had at her house. It was like this weird, I don't know what it was. I couldn't find it now if I wanted to, but just like some pinball game that I just found solace in. It was just something I did. It's like a ritual.
Yeah, do you guys, I don't know, like I remember like one day we didn't have like the internet when I was a kid, but we had a computer that just had applications. And I remember I just like opened one day the games tab and they had this thing called Mr. Chips Chips. Have you guys heard of this thing?
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's too advanced for me. I had solitaire, pinball, and Minesweeper.
It was like a Minesweeper type game though, where like you just kind of like it was like Minesweeper meets like original Legend of Zelda, where you can like go into different rooms and there's like patterns and like different colored things you're trying to get. Like, yeah, I don't know. I've never met anyone else who knows what this is. And so
Was it a Mac?
I feel like
Still haven't.
it was a Windows, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Like a Windows 95 game
I
or something.
don't know that game. Okay, can I
Yeah,
do an aside real quick? Because DJ brought up Oregon
for it.
Trail, and just the timing of this is interesting. I just gotta tell you guys about this real quick. Nobody's gonna care about this, but you guys will. My panel will find this amusing, I think. So, Jayson this summer is doing a class for Mikey and Freddie on the history of video games. And they're doing it like twice a week, and they're up to NES now. But like recently they did like the video game crash and the like classic era of arcades, and it's pretty extensive, and it's like he should try to make it an accredited course somewhere. It's really good, and Jayson is taking like college courses, and so he's basing it really hard on classes he's taken. So each session at the end of the class, they played a video game from that era, and they did Oregon Trail, and Jayson sent me a screenshot of Mikey's Oregon Trail when he died. Because if you ever played Oregon Trail, you get you get a tombstone that has the name that you picked, and it says R.I.P. on it, right? So my daughter Autumn is 2, and she likes to call Mikey. She can't say Mikey, so she calls him Mime. And
Aw.
we think that's hilarious and adorable, and Mikey has come to call himself Mima sometimes, and I don't know why she does this, but she also calls him Tooth Mime. Which we can't get our minds around. I think maybe it's because like he lost a tooth at one point, and like she associates him with teeth. Now she calls him Tooth Mime. So I get this screenshot from Jayson at the end of his Oregon Trail game. It says R.I.P. Tooth Mime. So good.
Aw. It's really cute when kids
Thanks for
like
indulging
they
that
figured out.
story.
I think it's
go.
adorable when kids have figured out 2-syllable words, but they can't figure out 3-syllable words. It's very adorable. I remember once when I was visiting DJ, Alan, your daughter, hadn't figured out like Spider-Man, but she could say Smyman. And so it was kind of
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
it was kind of 3 syllables, but she was fitting it into 2, and it was very cute.
It's always funny when you have those things with your kids where like I should probably correct them at this point, but it's so adorable that they say it. We have a couple of those where like my kids still call squirrels Squirtles, like the Pokemon, and I'm just like, I'm never telling them that there's not a T in squirrels because it's amazing.
Dude, speaking of teeth and Mikey, I still have this with Mikey. He's 8 years old, and I will not correct him on Master Chief. He thinks Master Chief's name is Master Teeth. And we have a standing rule in my house. He's only referred to as Master Teeth. Because I'm going to keep that going as long as humanly possible. And I'm terrified of the day that he sees it written out. Somehow he's not seen that yet. It is still to this day Master Teeth.
I can't believe he's 8 years old. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Time is marching on.
Judah will be 8 in 2 months. He was
No,
born right after.
From between like the release of Toy Story 4 to now,
He's
like
getting us back on track, folks.
children have been born and are in school now. Like that's I can't comprehend that.
Well, again, it's
so
the
strange.
31st anniversary of Toy Story. The perfect time to put out a new one.
That's right.
Hey, it's the Baskin Robbins birthday, so you gotta.
Real quick, because I tried to bring this up half an hour ago, and this speaks to something Connor was talking about the last time we actually were discussing the subject of this stream. Resident Gamer 1991, about 1,000,000 years ago, left this comment. I wanted to comment on it. The message of the film will be outdated in a few years. Original Toy Story is and will always be timeless. And I just wanted to bring that up because I really don't agree with that. And I get why he's saying it, because it does feel real time and place in being about kids and screen time, and like, you know, with AI and stuff, we're already like kind of getting past some of what this movie is about. But to DJ's point about this kind of being a metaphor for grander ideas, I think it's a more extreme example of things that every generation that at least has had uh, big new technological advances, like starting, say, in early to mid 20th century, has had. So, like, my generation was terrified about video games, just as a thing, where it's like, the kids are playing it too much. How do we get them off of it? They need to go outside. They need to be reading books. Before that and during that, it was television is rotting your brains. We're spending too long sitting in front of the TV. And so, like, I'm not saying every generation has this to minimize the problems and complications with the screen time thing, with the tablet time thing, because it is worse and more complicated now. But it's not going to go away. It's only going to get worse. And so, like, you can say it's outdated in the sense that it won't be exactly about specifically the tablets, but it's only going to continue to be more and more of a problem that we're replacing toys with something. You remember when Nintendo was considered a toy product? Did you know that in the mid 90s, Sega was considered one of, if not the top selling toy company, because we still considered game systems toys? I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to consider that like in certain ways, like, the age of toys has seemed over for people. You know, for 30 years, where, like, we still have had toys and sold them, and they've been massively successful sometimes, but there's been this feeling that they're being replaced.
Yeah.
For at least as
Well,
long
and
as
like
I've been alive.
Well, and that first Toy Story movie, it's, it's not about video games at all, but it absolutely feels like it's made by people like for that era, and like, oh, like, this is a movie about the value of toys, and we think we need to put this out in the world right
Remember,
now.
the big
And it
high-tech
works.
battery-operated toy was taking over the old, outmoded cowboy doll.
Yeah. It's all about, even if you don't go as far as I do with the metaphor, like, even if you keep it in the technology realm, like, there's internet, there's social media, like, all these things are going to continue to be problems. There's living your life algorithmically and just sitting back passively and taking what is fed to you instead of, like, using your brain, and all that creativity, that's always going to be prevalent. Like, you have to, and the individuality message is always going to be there. There's a movie that I watched recently for the first time, I think 2 years ago called Desk Set, which is a Katharine Hepburn, Spencer Tracy rom-com from 1957. And it's also a little bit of a Christmas movie if you want to watch it this year. It's amazing, and it is all about, she is an informational, like, she's an information lady, like, that you call on the phone, and she has to know everything, and everyone calls her, and they've come up with this supercomputer that is replacing all of their jobs. And like, I watched it right a couple years ago when like the big AI boom happened, and I was like,
Wow.
holy crap, this is so relevant still. Like, it's a great movie, and it holds up perfectly because it's been long enough, and the next big technological boom has happened, and it's
Mhm.
always is a tale as old as time.
Well, it's weird how
Yeah.
things have
Yeah,
changed so
no.
much and then not at all. Like the phrase "print is dead" was around decades before it was.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is interesting to just like go back in history and learn that like we're just facing the same problems over and over again. Like, for reasons that will become apparent in the coming weeks, I have this on my desk, but these are movies from like the 20s and 30s. These are Frank Capra's films that he made for Columbia Pictures. Uh, More than half of them are about how the media is awful and is nothing but muckrakers and yellow journalism, and how like you can't trust anybody and they're always going to spin you out and take you out of context. And it's all of the things that you hear about people talking about, like social media in the media, like and like the way it spins news. Like it's the exact same thing. And so with this though, like I don't know, like you can really take the tablet, make it anything. Like if you want to make it a metaphor about like movies, it's like, okay, movies have to exist besides streaming and people making crap on TikTok. Like it's all that, it's all the same kind of like sharing and like figuring out how to like coexist in the same landscape.
Mhm.
And one of those Capra movies will be number 9 on his list.
Who can say? Only me.
I need you guys to start rolling those out faster, because I'm like, my mouth is watering for more long ass discussions about your favorite
We're
100
gonna do
movies.
one
Because I'm over,
Friday. We were supposed to do one last Thursday, and I got sick and I couldn't do it.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, no worries. I love
Hope
those
you're
though.
feeling
I
better,
love
buddy.
listening to you guys.
I'm better. Um, I'm glad I've made it through this stream as late as it is. I had this weird thing on the trip. I don't know why I'm talking about this right now. Where I started experiencing like really bad vertigo, which I've never had before.
Oh,
Like room spinning while I'm sleeping for
that
That's
hours.
bad.
sucks.
That's
Yeah,
bad. No,
Yeah.
my stepmom has vertigo, and well, she has like some autoimmune stuff, and like one of the things is she does get vertigo when she's laying down and asleep. Like it sounds
I think
horrible.
it's related
Mhm.
to my histamine condition, and I think it's because of an artificial sweetener that was in something that I was having during the week. I did some research on this. It lines up. It's self-diagnosing, but I think that's probably what it is. Anyway, suffice it to say, if it doesn't go away in the next couple of days, I'm gonna have to go see somebody. It was much better today, but I still had some of it, and I was kind of afraid it would happen during the stream, and it hasn't yet, so that's good. But anyway, this is
That's
TMI.
good.
I don't know why I'm talking about this while we're broadcasting.
Oregon Trail, dysentery,
I
antihistamines,
know. I
the whole
am
gamut.
unprofessional.
And the artificial sweeteners are ruining your children. You need to give your children real sugars. That's really
It's true,
gonna
and
help with their
I don't even
creativity.
care what their peers are doing, DJ, or if they're gonna get ostracized because they don't have the stevia. Okay, I don't care. What else?
Oregon Trail. I live in Oregon. What's that about? I don't know. Kind of spooky.
Is there anything else we didn't mention about this movie that you guys wanted to? Oh, I liked just the sheer amount of horses. There's like
She's a
toy
collector.
horses
She's a
riding
collector.
horses, army of Buzz Lightyear on army of horses. I thought that was set up and paid off extremely well. Here's a shelf of all the horses. Of course, we're gonna have an
Um,
army of 50 of them. Uh,
I appreciated that the
riding the horses.
heroine, the creative heroine of the story, was a collector. It made me feel like I have purpose,
yes.
and that my movies will all jump off the shelf and save me someday. I don't know.
uh, my favorite new character. This was almost my best thing, but I didn't go with it because he's only in one scene. I in the opening when Jesse like first discovers the tech and is out like in the neighborhood backyard. That little sea captain toy says the age of toys is over, lassie. I was like, I love this guy. I wish he was in the movie more. They should make a toy of him. He's great.
Yeah, I didn't even see a trailer for this. I think I saw the teaser where it's just like,
Oh,
I'm a tablet, and they all go, ah, and that was it. So after we got out of the movie, my brother was like, oh, you were like, giggling at all the stuff that's in the trailer. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah, I
Well,
was so
I was
happy
that
when
guy.
it's kind of
Okay,
nice that you
anyway.
didn't have any of that ruined for you, because that definitely clouded some of the movie for me. Like, I probably wouldn't have minded, like some of what wasn't done with Buzz and Woody if it weren't for the trailer. But like, it was setting up
That's
stuff I
fair.
was excited about, and then it didn't do them.
Yeah, that's a
Huh.
bummer because
What are you
like a
gonna
lot
do?
of the Buzz and Woody stuff, I was just kind of like, oh, this is how we get Woody in here. And then when Woody kind of showed up, I'm like, he doesn't need to be here. You could really have done this without him.
I-
But honestly, I'm having a
I-
good
I-
time. I'm having a good time. Who cares?
Yeah, that was something you guys had a complaint about earlier, and so I talked about Buzz Lightyear a lot earlier, but I mean Woody's actually my favorite. Like Woody's always been my favorite, and how like contrived the setup is, and even though all the jokes with him didn't land for me, I thought I appreciated that he was in the movie, and I thought he was just in it just enough. I'm glad he didn't take over the movie
But don't you feel
as the
like
protagonist.
Robert? And I don't mean to fight on it. Like,
Mhm.
like what you like, but don't you feel like we made too big of a pomp and circumstance out of his leaving in 4 for it to be so easy to just bring him right back in? Where it's like, okay, but they have like a constant standing like communication device that they can talk to each other anytime they want to. It's like, why was it that big of a deal that he left? Like,
Yeah, well, it's funny because like the ending of 4, I've always been kind of mixed on. Like that never felt completely earned for me. So just seeing him back with the other toys and just getting more interactions with Buzz, like personally speaking, I kind of needed that after 4. But in my opinion, like it didn't undercut 4 in its message and its story
I
at
just
all.
feel like
Like
you could have
what he's
gotten
doing
there.
exactly.
I just feel like you could have
Sure.
gotten there in a way that didn't undercut the way they wrote him out. Like, I'm with you. I don't love that ending either, but they did it. Like,
Mhm. But my not to dwell on 4, I always felt like they made it more of like an ultimatum that it needed to be, like now or never he has to leave, and I never like
yeah.
fully bought it. But
Yeah.
but I really liked Bo Peep's story in it.
Well, how do you feel about that,
And
Connor, since you
I
watched
liked
it
the
18 hours
relationship.
ago?
Look, as somebody who had a Woody that moved away, it it's the perfect ending. Like I can like I don't know, like maybe it's too personal of a stake in there, but like I get it. Like
Mhm.
I could always just call my brother up whenever I want to, you know? I have my own life now.
I was gonna
And
say, why did your Woody run away? Like it's a toy, and like in the real world, I don't know how it got up and left. I don't.
well, these aren't fictional, Cap. I don't know if you realize that. But,
Wow,
yeah, no, but
the
like
world makes even less
I
sense to me than it did yesterday.
look,
No, I get what you're saying,
nobody
Connor.
said
That's good.
so
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I
I don't know.
understand. I
To
understand
me,
that too.
all that stuff plays perfectly. Like, here's the thing. I think the real discovery for me watching through these Toy Story movies is that like I've always liked Toy Story. I've loved Toy Story 2. Um, but it's always been like the ground level Pixar thing that everyone likes. And so I've always kind of had that like, oh, it belongs more to culture than it belongs to me, but I still really like it. But I really learned that like Woody is one of my favorite characters. Like especially like with like the way he like values loyalty and like family and staying together. He is my dad. Like that is my dad as a movie character is Woody. And like that is kind of the thing that like my brother has really like taken from my dad more than me and our other brother. Like and so it's like my twin brother is like Woody and my brother's gotten really into westerns lately or in the last few years and so like not because of that but like it's just another part of it and so I'm just like watching like Woody is like my guy. Like I love these movies, so I can like feel closer to like my dad and my brother in a kind of just a cinematic way. And
I mean,
so what's up?
you need to name your kid Woody, I think is what we're discovering here.
Yeah,
I think you have to name your kid Woody.
And also, we've
If he
learned
doesn't.
that Woody does not care at all about any of Connor's pop culture interests, and will not let him watch Dexter's Laboratory.
that's okay. I love him for it. But the thing is, like, I think the first, like 4 and 5 aren't as good as the first 3, but I think they're both very good. When it comes to this movie, like, I think on the whole, like the basic story of it is probably better than 4. But I think the Woody stuff in 4 is better than anything in this movie. And I think like the way we kind of wrap up Woody's story, it would just be kind of redundant and like diminishing to 4 to make him more of a big deal in this movie. And so I like that we use him, but we don't overplay him. And you could argue
That's
he
how I
doesn't even
felt.
need to be here.
But dude, I would have been fine with
Right.
him even just coming in the third act to help, not even being in most of the
Me
movie.
too.
And like, it wouldn't have to be Deus
Yeah,
Ex Machina.
like-
It's just
Yeah.
let him run in right at the
I
end.
get it. Yeah, no, I get
Yeah.
you.
At the risk of being a jerk because you guys really like Woody now, I'm learning. But I also one of the only thing in the score that I didn't like I love the score all the way through, when Woody shows up and it starts doing the "You Got a Friend in Me" instrumental in the score. It was really out of place and it really felt terrible. I was like, this is awful. Just play the Woody theme. He has a theme, like just play Woody's theme. Why are we like switching to this? It just goes for like 15 seconds, just like switches to it as he walks up, and it was just really, it didn't fit what I was seeing. It was clearly just like a fan service.
If you just put it
That's fair.
behind his interaction with Buzz, it would have been fine.
Yeah, it was just the moment
'Cause
because he's
that's
like
their
walking, it's all
song.
dramatic, but it's
Buzz
like
and Woody kind of have a romance song.
ba-dum.
Like that's kind of their song.
I
and
do
maybe
like
they
the
did do it
poncho.
then too.
Poncho was cool. I like the
The
poncho.
I like the poncho. And Cap, to what you were talking about earlier in thinking like more of the movie would be about like that rivalry again with Woody and Buzz and that bickering. And it's really just the one scene. I was fine with that. Again, I think there is more drama we could have sunk our teeth into with that, but for me, like I was fine with it. Like I got just enough. Like they bicker like old friends, but they still love each other, and
I'm
that
more
all played
complaining
for
than they
me.
put it in the trailer.
That's fair.
Honestly.
But
That's
that
my
is that
marketing
but
term.
that's fair. But that's also a line in the trailer that really landed for me. That it's good to see them fighting again. I'm like, yeah. And I only, in my opinion, I only think this undercuts the ending of 4 if Woody like comes back to stay with them forever at the end. Like, no, he's back. He hangs out with his friends for a while, and then he goes away with his new family. Like that's fine. So
That's fair.
like I said, all that played for me.
I will say one fan servicey thing that I did like it's the exact opposite of the "You Got a Friend in Me." I love the Bambi scene. Like it's so random.
That was
and
weird.
Yeah,
It's really funny.
and it's surreal for me because I just finally saw for the first time since I was a little kid Bambi and had like this spiritual experience with it.
Oh, it's
And that
so
was, like,
good. We got to do Bambi.
really-
We got to do a commentary on Bambi, Cap. It's
That
so
was
good.
like, yeah, that was like a big thing for me. My wife was like, "Hey, you need to finally sit down and watch Bambi," and I was like, "Okay, whatever." And then I did, and it was like a thing. And so that happens
that's
in this, and I was like, "How did they know?"
Well, and I was so proud because that song starts playing, and I was like, "Judah, what's this song from?" He's like, "Bambi." And I was like, yes, "I'm doing it right. I'm doing it right, movie. See, I'm doing it right." But he loved Bambi. Bambi was like his favorite Disney movie when he was like 4. So I watched Bambi a lot with him, and it's really freaking good. And no one remembers it. I mean,
Lion
people
King
remember. People
still-
know.
I
Bambi,
need
but,
to
like,
watch it again.
I still love Lion King and probably like it better than Bambi. Bambi is objectively the better movie. It just is. It just is.
So good. They made all their best movies before 1950, or Peter Pan, I guess, and Alice in Wonderland around there.
John Von Killing says, I mean, technically, isn't "You Got a Friend in Me" Woody's song thanks to the retcon for Woody's Roundup?
That's a good point.
Not when he's doing a triumphant thing. He has like a dun-dun-dun version. He doesn't
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
do 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 when he's like jumping through the window with a poncho. It was just bad timing. It was weird.
That's fair.
Okay, well somehow we got 2.5 hours out of Toy Story 5.
I could keep going. I'm telling you, I'm a
Me
weirdo.
too.
I love this movie so much. I don't know why.
I'm glad.
I mean, I
Yeah,
do know why. But
honestly, I think I appreciate it more on a thematic and a discussion level than like actually watching it. And I really liked it, don't get me wrong. But like I'm liking it a lot more talking about it than I even was like the experience watching it. And like
Mhm.
I think it's one of those movies where it morphs and kind of has a life of its own in my memory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'd almost rather talk about it than watch it again.
Yeah, after like I mean I just got done watching it 3 hours ago. But it was like a thing where I just had a really good time watching it, and yeah, I guess just I had mostly been talking about it since seeing it, but it's feeling good. Like I'm in my memory, it's having a good staying power
Mhm.
so far, anyways. And I just had a really good time watching it. I would absolutely love to watch this again. I liked it more than the second time I saw Toy Story 4, which was last night. I still like Toy Story 4 quite a bit. I don't know if I liked it as much as the first time I saw Toy Story 4, but that was like 7 years ago. So I don't know. It's definitely in that tier for me.
yeah, it definitely helped that I got to watch it with my kids and with my wife because, like, as soon as we walked out on the way home, I could talk to my wife about it, who is the closest person that would understand what I'm going through because she's literally the person raising my kids with me.
Yeah, I need my wife to see this too eventually. We don't get to go to movies together very much.
I can't even remember the last time I went to see a new movie. Connor makes fun of me all the time. I haven't seen a new movie in years.
What what other franchise has this consistency and quality over 30 years, right? That's not Mission
Mission
Impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're ready.
You beat me
Yeah,
by 2 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know.
And even that,
Um,
like 2 and 3 are kind of odd.
oh,
Yeah,
they're not
2
all
is not
great.
good.
Well, good is a point of view, Connor.
I'm just saying
No,
I think Toy Story is pretty consistent.
and some people disagree with that because a lot of people hate 4 and think they
Yeah.
should have never made more
I get
after
that,
3.
but we don't
Um,
obviously none of us seem to have that.
yeah, and I think for myself, like I don't need more after this. I'd be fine if they stopped. What I've been saying ever since 3 is I'd like them to do spin-offs, but I get it. They're gonna keep calling them Toy Story because Toy Story is what makes $1 billion. So whatever. Um, but if we're not gonna do spin-offs or like a Woody spin-off, like Cap suggested earlier, I do think this does set a good template for formula moving forward. And like this is an experiment in making Jesse the protagonist, and if we're gonna keep making these movies, like yeah, find new characters, whether they're new or old characters, to fill the protagonist role. Like I think that's the way to keep this alive because
They're
that really worked for this movie.
they're getting old though. Joan Cusack
That's a problem.
voice half the time did sound
Yeah,
really
no, it
really
has the
Buzz sound really
That's
old.
Simpsons
fair.
Tim
problem,
Allen
except
sounded
that
really old.
show does not
Hmm.
have the quality all the way through the
No.
toys. They're starting to get they're going to get. I mean, they already have this problem. They're going to get into the issue of do we retire characters or do we recast
Mhm.
the voices? And obviously, the Simpsons has landed on we just retire characters, and this has landed on we'll have somebody do it even if they sound terrible, like the Muppets.
Yeah, no, and again, that's a selfish thing on my part. Like, I don't want us to be making these movies if it's not Tim Allen and Tom Hanks. Like, Tom Hanks's brother does a great job as Woody for the video games and other things. But like, as of this recording, like Tim Allen has said, like, I'm done. This is my last hurrah as Buzz, which I think he said about the last 2 movies, but whatever. But yeah, like they are getting old. They can't do this forever, and I would prefer to move on from those characters than recast it. Like that's something I feel personally very strongly about. Which is why, like, if you have to create new characters, that's fine. I just bet, like, with Jesse, like, oh, we did one of these with a different protagonist, and I thought it really worked. So
Well, could you get
whether Buzzy
away?
and Woody are around or not,
Could you get
I hope
away
they learned the
with
right lesson from that. Yeah.
with like passing the torch to a completely new room of toys? Like with like one character that goes off to a completely new place, and then you introduce a completely new cast with voices that are 40 and younger.
it depends. Like, this is a great example. I genuinely expected like a Barbie spin-off after 3, and a little surprised we never got that. Like, of course, Pixar would have to work with Mattel to do that again, but like that's just printing money. Like that's an easy $1 billion hit, is do a Barbie story with the Jodie Benson Barbie. But yeah, if it's an entirely new character, I don't know.
They already
but
did, and it did make $1 billion.
Yeah.
Or you could have
Exactly.
Army Men, the movie.
Oh, I'd watch that.
Who played Combat Carl in this movie?
That's
Ernie
Hudson.
Hudson.
Ernie
And-
Hudson.
Okay.
And he's been in before.
No, Carl Weathers was Combat Carl
Yeah,
in
I just
4.
mean the character.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
yeah.
sorry.
He's in
Yeah.
4.
Well, I had
And
to
he's
explain that to
referenced in the
Jason
first
because he
one.
thought that was a new character, and I'm like, not only is he in 4, but he had there was a short that was massively revolved around him.
Toy Story of Terror.
Wow, Cap, you were the resident Toy Story short expert.
So I'm
Like, you're
not.
blowing
In
Connor
fact,
out of the
I've never
water with the
sat through an
shorts.
entire one. Over my vacation at my father-in-law's house, the kids there were watching all the Toy Story shorts, and I kept walking in the room and seeing parts of them. So what I've now mentioned about those shorts is exactly everything I know about them.
Oh, you've exhausted it. You've exhausted.
I've
yourself on
exhausted it. Yes.
Toy Story shorts. Well, I've only ever seen one, and it was like about Rex taking a bath, and I was like, I'm never watching these again because this is terrible.
Well, that was
That
one
I
of
did not know about.
It's like
Well, there were-
like a disco, like crazy rave happening in the bath. It's just like, loud and-
DJ. The title of that short was Partysaurus Rex. Thank you very much.
Excuse me.
I'm
I'm the only one
embarrassed
that
to
knows.
know that I already knew that title.
Yeah, so there were like 3 like 5-minute shorts they did after Toy Story 3. That was one of them. The one Cap was talking about with the Combat Carl, that was like a half-hour
That's a
special.
longer
That was
thing.
Toy Story of Terror. Yeah, and they did 2 of those. There was Toy Story of Terror, which I liked, and Toy Story That Time Forgot, which I don't remember being very good.
Okay,
So
great
there were
reminds
those
us that
two.
Combat Carl was the toy that got blown up by Sid in Toy Story 1,
Yes.
which I did not remember.
But it was a different one because I was a white guy.
Oh. Well, and I think the
so
one that
he's
we get in
basically
this
G.I. Joe.
has to be a different
Yeah.
Combat Carl than the one in 4,
Yes.
He's friends with the gnome.
which is not a toy. I don't understand that.
He's a
I'm really hung
porcelain
up on that.
flip.
Okay.
Same thing. He's an inside gnome.
Guys, it would be nuts if we got to 3 hours on this. Anything else that has to be said before we go? I'm wrapping things up here.
They just keep making really good movies. If they make a 6, cool. I don't know how many of these people will be alive for that, but hey, I'm open. I'm open.
I think they've earned our trust. It's very rare that there's a franchise that every time one gets announced, everyone's like, "No, don't make that," and then it comes out and everyone's like, "I'm so glad you made that. That's great."
I
It's
predict
like that doesn't happen.
This time that won't happen. I think when 6 gets announced, people will actually be excited about it this time because they've stuck the landing this many times, and because people, you guys are right. I mean, there were a lot of people that didn't like 4, so it's like, I'll give it a rest already. Like, that was the end of it, and it sucked. You have a trilogy, and then you don't need. But 5 is being, pretty positively appraised, so I kind of don't think when a 6 gets announced, there will be as much eye rolling as there has been with 3 and 4.
Especially
and
because this
then
one's
5.
like you said, Robert. Like it's a new era. Like it's
Mhm.
doing something completely different. It's not a Woody movie again.
Exactly. And it really helps the franchise that for the vast majority of them now, like it is like 5 to 10 years between movies. Like none of us want a Toy Story 6 in like 2 years. Like the long gaps really help them. That being said, again, like we mentioned with the cast, they're not getting any younger. So if we wait another 10 years, those 10 years are gonna make a big difference between depending on which characters we use. So I don't know.
I want them
Just
to
have to
make
wait
a
and see.
futuristic dystopian one set in like the year 3000,
Like Wally.
where like there are like kids don't even play with toys anymore. Maybe all the kids are cyborgs now, and we have one of our toys that's left. It's like Slinky Dog in the year 3000 or something.
No, because then I'll have to hear
Maybe
that
not
horrible
that because the
voice.
voice will suck, but it's like that'll
No,
be Rex's
humans
movie.
have-
It'll be the dinosaur of the future.
It's like Fahrenheit 451 for toys, where like toys are legal.
That's awesome. Yes, I'll take that.
Well, they've already
Fahrenheit-osaurus
done that with
451.
Santa Claus is coming to town, where he makes toys illegal, and then he trips on a train on the stairs and breaks his foot. We've already done it. Everything's done.
It's true.
Make that movie. Make it now.
Meister Burger could make an appearance.
It's true. Last thing I wanted to mention that made me very happy is I liked the mid-credits scene a lot because I knew it had to be about the buzzes because we set that up to get paid off and then it wasn't in the movie, so I was like, okay, that's probably the after-credits scene. I loved the cameo from Zurg. That made me very happy. I thought that joke was great.
Me too. And this is just nostalgia stuff, but like Zurg is my favorite design in Toy Story.
I love Zurg and Cap like. On a surface level, like, because we make the joke earlier and then bring it back again in the mid-credit scene with him being Buzz's father.
Mhm.
Like, on a surface level, that is just recycling a joke from 2. But I have to see that as a meta dig at Lightyear, where that's not the lore in that movie for some reason. I mean,
Oh,
maybe I'm
sure.
taking crazy pill. That felt like a dig at that movie to me. That's the joke we recycle and go, yeah, Zurg is Buzz's father. It would be weird if he wasn't, right?
But they're
'Cause
also
that was
really,
the lore.
they're also really consistent in this franchise about their attitude with like throwback gags. Like they never fall into that nostalgia trap. Like the way that's handled and going all the way back to something from 2 is exactly the way 2 handled its references to 1.
I agree. Yeah, like we get some callbacks, like the falling with style line when they're all flying, but they do that stuff just sparingly enough that I don't think it's a problem yet.
Slight thing though, you talked about how crazy it was that Jesse rides a horse. Woody rides a dog.
I was going to mention that earlier. Yeah.
They also drive a car in the first one.
Or in the second one.
I
Is it the
don't
second
know
one?
why, but Jesse riding a
Drive a
horse
car.
feels like the craziest thing they've ever done. And it's not, but I think it's just because she's able to like get the horse to go. Well, and actually it doesn't even go where she wants it to, because then it just like runs into the barn.
Yeah.
So I guess
She
I guess
tries to
that's good, but
ratatouille it, but she fails.
I
Yeah.
think it's just surreal to me because this is a character that we have seen ride a toy horse.
Hmm.
And then she's on a real. I think that's why it's so crazy to me. It's just like Jesse's actually riding a freaking actual horse now.
That is true.
But you're
Nothing
right. They
will
did
ever be
drive a
as
car in the
crazy
first
as-
movie after they're driving a toy car. So like, it's not. It's just
Yeah, it's
neat. Like it's not
escalation.
actually that out there, but it felt like it in
Like-
the theater. It was like, how are they doing that? How are they having her ride an actual horse?
I don't think Pixar will ever jump the shark as much, no pun intended, as the fish driving a car and Finding Nemo or in Finding Dory.
I
Like
could.
the ending
Yeah.
of Finding Dory is insane. There's like fish
It is.
It's way too
ripping
out
a
there.
car off of a cliff, and I'm like, what are we
Nope.
doing? What
No,
has
I couldn't-
happened?
I couldn't deal with it.
It was crazy.
And that movie's okay up to that point, but like it lost me.
Oh my God, John Kelling says Jimmy Dean is the MVP, most valuable pig. Comment of the stream.
Well
I
done.
forgot about
Well
Jimmy
done.
Dean.
So
Jimmy Dean as
one last question I have for Connor, just because he just went through all these movies
What-
again.
what-
He's our
That I did
resident
find-
Toy Story expert.
Yes, that I did find a little distracting.
But not the shorts.
Connor-
That's
Not the shorts.
That's
Connor-
correct. Not the first.
that's cap.
God, as I recall, Toy Story 4 shifts the aspect ratio to like a wider
Yes,
anamorphic.
yes, you're right. I'm so glad you
This
brought this
one
up.
goes
Oh
back
gosh,
to the original
here we
from the
go.
3, and I find it
30 minutes.
distracting. How do you feel?
I'm with you. I think
Okay.
if you have a series, you stick to an aspect ratio, and if you shift it for 4, you're kind of saying, okay, for this
Stick with it.
incarnation of the franchise or the series, we are sticking with this. But this movie's, it's weird to say this about an animated film. This film's lensing is just fundamentally different than 4's was. So it
Mhm.
looks better suited for this movie. And the lensing, the artificial lensing in 4 is amazing. I also
Yeah.
thought the animation was not as photorealistic this time as it was in 4.
I had that
And I
too.
think that's probably good. That's probably good because that friggin' cat in 4 looks like a live action cat
It
running
does.
around. And it and like there was a point in this movie where like Buzz and Woody cling onto the back of the car, and it looked like actual hunks of metal and like fabric toys like at the back of a car, and I'm like,
I think
this movie's got to chill out. Like it looks too real.
I think all the Buzz stuff, except for like the Bambi cameo, where it's a little more artsy. Like the beginning stuff looks incredible and
It
could
looks
be
great.
photorealistic. Like when they're running
Mhm.
around with the neon and like the rain is on them, it's like reflecting, and I was like, this
Yeah.
looks incredible. And they do tone it down more when
Well,
they're
and
like
it's
with
cool
the
that they're
other
still
toys.
showing off with that stuff in this franchise because other Pixar movies have gotten more cartoony more recently.
That's the it again, like we mentioned earlier, it's just recycling the same Buzz jokes we made in the earlier movies. I don't care. I still find it funny. But like the Viking chanting or whatever in the score when we're just focused on the Buzz. I love it. It's great. And then when the one falls behind and says, "Leave me, go on," it's like
Even
that's
that was a
just
sweet
endlessly
moment.
funny. Yeah,
Even
and
that
then
was a
it
sweet
becomes
moment
a really
because
nice moment.
he found his
Yeah.
child, and they're like, oh, he found his purpose. We're good. And Cap, I thought you would like the scene where they revealed that it is just in the toys in the Buzz's programming to pretend like toys, even though they don't know why they do it. He was like, why do we just do that? Because it's just built into them to pretend to be toys.
Where does
when
that come up?
people walk by. They were at the docks, and a person's coming, and they all just like fall down and pretend to be toys. And he's like, I'm not cleaning that up. And he just walks away.
Right.
And then they're all like, why did we just do that? And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they keep running.
So you
So it's, like,
interpreted
built
that
into them.
differently than I did because I just thought that was what all the toys have to do, and so they're just realizing that they're toys. Like all the toys do that. So like it's
Well,
not
But that's
either
the big thing
programming. It's just
in one. That's the
what-
big, huge complaint in one is that he doesn't think he's a toy. Why does he pretend to be a toy?
sure,
Mhm.
but
That's
why
the big,
would
huge complaint about Buzz.
no? I get that, but why is that necessarily programming into them versus just the rules of the universe? What all the toys do because they all do that.
I'm just saying that's like the big complaint in Toy Story 1 is like that they always hear about is like why doesn't Buzz pretend to be a toy when he doesn't think he's a toy? Here it's like it's not a conscious choice that he's doing.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Right.
to
No, I
him.
like that they finally acknowledged that. I thought your point was it was a thing that was programmed into the buzzes specifically. That's what I thought you said.
It would have to be because none of the other toys do it by accident. They do it on
I think they
purpose.
do.
So it's
I think
gotta
it's
be
just an ins-
I don't think it's
instinct.
consistent. I think there's a lot of scenes throughout the movies where a toy drops because an adult's present, but like they don't necessarily want to.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're consistent about.
But there's a lot of them where they're like, someone's coming, and then they like tell them, and then they all drop on purpose.
Yes, that
So it's-
also happens.
Yeah, that happens
it's
too.
weird.
But I thought the point of that scene was just to solidify whether it's retconning or not. That's a rule of this universe that if you're a toy, you drop when someone walks in the room.
Yeah, like a scene
unconsciously.
in this movie is when Jessie is like trying to follow Bonnie, but then adults show up and then she drops and then is picked up and carried off. Like it doesn't seem like there's a lot of scenes like that where it doesn't seem like she would just like dive out of the way, but it's like she drops involuntary.
Well, what's
and then
weird
it's,
is
whisked
obviously
away.
the toys are not. I guess I'll use the word programmed again, but like by the universe or whatever, they're not forced to stay limp as long as like humans or sentient beings are in the room because and you even have it in this movie. You'll have places where they'll kind of come out of their trance for the audience, like while someone is holding them, and then like they'll make a face or something. And B, they can like run around on animals and stuff. So like it doesn't, it only works with humans. Like they can talk to dogs. That's fine.
Yeah, it's completely
And that-
inconsistent. If they just picked one, if it was involuntary or if they could do it, like, but they have it both ways.
So I
like,
said the
throughout
rules of the universe are
Yeah.
not inconsistent. This is a place where they absolutely are. But yeah.
Yeah, they kind of have to be, but it's fine.
That's fine.
But to answer your question, I got all off topic, Robert. But the second the Disney logo started and it was in the full 16:9, I
Yeah.
went, we're back, baby.
Einstein Jet mentions that in the first movie Woody talks to Sid. Yes, but importantly, it's after he's been in the room or like with him outside for a while. Like he has to go limp when he walks in, but then after that, all bets are off. I guess I don't know.
It's like dropping food on the floor. How does Woody gain weight? How does Woody gain weight? Like, what is
I had
happening
that
there?
same thought.
Somebody suggested earlier, and I think this is a stretch, that it has something to do with him missing his talk box.
Okay.
So
But I
it's-
don't see
maybe
how
his
that
talk
would
box-
make him look fatter.
Maybe it fell out and like moved around to the front of him.
No. It's
No,
like,
he
so
lost
he
it.
got rid of his talk box to give it to Gabby in 4.
In 4,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
He took it out. But I don't know
Haven't
why
seen
that
it
would...
since the theater.
I
Well,
would think
the-
that
the
would
way
make you
it's-
thinner before it would make you fatter, but...
Well, maybe
Yeah.
Bo Peep was like, we got to get some stuffing in you, and they put too much stuffing.
Oh, maybe so. He's got all the straw in there.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I
maybe
mean, he got
Jerry-
those. Yeah, he got that rockin' bicep in the second one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like the way that scene is animated. It's like the stuffing like just shifts, and it's like we just do a fat joke with it. But he doesn't look like that for most of the movie. Not that I recall, or I don't think we're consistent about it.
I don't know why
I guess that's
being older
be
would
true.
make that happen. If it hasn't happened by
could-
now, because he's like an 80-year-old toy.
Yes.
that stuffing in there is really wearing down. It's really starting to settle at the
It's
bottom.
sagging real hard.
But I don't understand what happened to his head. Like, did he just get like scuffed, and part of his hair is like what? The,
No,
they think
that's
the
actually-
shining thing is hilarious.
There's kind of
They-
in 2. It's kind of in 2 where like when the guy comes over to like stitch his arm
Yeah.
back up,
And
like
it
he does put some
sprays his-
paint,
Paints his hair
Yeah.
back.
put some. So I think just wearing the hat like rubs the paint on the back of his
Yeah.
head, so puts
Okay.
a bald spot on.
Well, and we all had toys with like faded paint and stuff. Like, I kind of wish we
Missing-
did more with that in
Yeah,
these movies.
Missing limbs. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
overthinking it. It's probably just he's a ratty toy and it's just a joke.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
there's folks that are watching or will watch this that would say that we've been overthinking this for 3 hours.
Yes.
But I've really enjoyed it.
I loved it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for
I'll,
coming.
I'll
thank
reach
you.
out in another 5 years when I see another new movie in theaters.
No, come
I'll
back
talk to
before
you.
that, DJ.
I'd love to. I had a great time. It was fun.
Connor, thank you for doing all of our homework for us. We appreciate that.
Of course, thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure.
And Robert, thank you for being here so that we could have 5. Even though
welcome.
Jayson left, so we've only had 4 for a lot of this. No, we need Robert because he creates the wonderful backgrounds. He's always got
Thank you.
stuff of whatever we're doing. I didn't
appreciate
even
it.
know if you were much of a Toy Story person. I was just like, well,
Oh, yeah.
we're building a panel, and Robert does these with us a lot. I should see if Robert wants to do this. So thanks for being here, Robert.
Oh, thank you for asking me. I appreciate it. I love Toy Story.
Always, man. Okay, well, this was delightful. And I think I like this movie even more talking about it for 3 hours. We're going to get going. Hopefully I don't get vertigo. And we'll see you guys next time. Tomorrow night, we're going to have our comic show, so pop in for that. And in the meantime, I was Captain Logan, and we had DJ Martinez, and we had Connor Nielsen, and the Wild Robert Wild. Goodbye, everybody.